Oh.
First, I'm going to unmute my mic in OBS, and then we're going to let the starting soon screen play for a little bit. It's got some nice. It's got my usual, Star Trek ambience that I do on my stream. I figured it fit perfectly for this.
They're not live yet for me on Twitch. I don't know why.
Just going live page. So.
Yep, just going live. So just getting the ad now.
There it is. Snickers. There we go.
Q, you got a lot of feedback coming through your mic, so be real careful about volume.
Okay, yeah. That was from whatever sound was on. I just muted it. That was from whatever sound was on Nord's stream as we were.
So you might want to mute the stream while you're having it in the background.
Yeah, I did.
Excellent.
And mute it again.
In fact, I am going to do a thing real quick, Duncan, if you don't mind.
What thing? I like how I'm being asked for permission. I have no idea.
You are now a moderator.
I got weapons.
Oh, that makes sense, actually.
I figure, he is an official moderator for the official Cryptic stream. It would make sense since this is being hosted.
So I've been shanghaied into 2 roles.
You're fired.
Okay.
Hey, how do I access chat on a channel so I can host this on a channel that's not live? Because I've never done that before.
It should be live now.
No, he means
on a channel that's not live.
Oh.
Go to your page. Go to the stream, the channel in particular, and there should be a tab that says chat.
There is not. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Wow, they hide that well.
Yes, they do. You have no idea how long it took me to realize that was there. All right, so chat is very active. Oh my goodness. All right, if you guys are ready,
let's do this.
Welcome to the Meat Hall, everybody.
Let's do this.
I just realized I have push to talk on in Discord, so let me try that again. Welcome to the Meat Hall, everybody. I am the Grumpy Old Nord. Welcome to my house. However, for those that are not new here, we are doing things a little differently, as this is a very special occasion. Tonight, we are doing our very first live stream of the reason I always take Friday nights off from the Meat Hall. And we are going to be live streaming a live episode of Star Trek Reliant. I'm sure those of you that were watching as we were starting up could hear some of the voices in the background. One of them or two of them might have sounded a little familiar. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, I just want to say thank you to everyone involved. Thank you to all of you that are here. Kara, you shut your mouth. Sorry, I was reading the Discord. So, without any further ado, I was going to do the whole Chaucer speech from Knight's Tale, but now I can't remember it. Anyway, so, for the thousands in attendance, for the millions watching at home.
Ooh, sorry, continue.
Somebody got my reference. All right, let's play some Star Trek. Oh, I just realized I almost forgot a very important part. You see, I said I was not the host tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, may I introduce you to who is our host tonight, the fantabulous game master of Star Trek Reliant, the guy whose brainchild this whole thing is. May I introduce you to Hippie John?
Hey guys, Star Trek Reliant. Yeah, we are a Star Trek Adventures game that is. We are mostly a great number of us who play are former Foundry authors and streamers who just really love the game Star Trek Online. So we decided to set the game in the same timeline as Star Trek Online, and have for the last couple of months we've been telling our adventures of the USS Reliant. And in tonight's episode, we have what I consider a an honor, because it's all about honor when you deal with Klingons. The story has brought us to a point in time where the Star Trek Reliant crew, despite the Klingon War, will be interacting with the Klingon Empire and on the same mission. So before I introduce our regular players, I'll let everybody know that our special guest tonight is the community manager of Star Trek Online, Mike Fadum. That's AmbassadorKael.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 10 Forward Weekly. I'm your host. No, thank you guys very much for having me on. This has been super fun.
I hope it continues to be super fun. I'm going to go ahead down the list, but I'm going to start with the ship's captain to introduce our players. Duncan, Idaho plays Marcus Graves. He is one of the first two graduates from Starfleet Academy to be assigned his first command at lieutenant rank. His rank coming out of the academy as lieutenant. I've always liked the captains of, the when the captain of the starship is like the first of something, like how Kirk was the youngest. And so we have Duncan, Idaho playing captain or lieutenant Marcus Graves.
Hello.
Our first officer is played by longtime Foundry author Kendra Alenis, who's playing the character Alenis Kendra, which is who her name is Bajoran, so of course Kendra is her first name. She is the first officer of the ship.
Hello, everybody.
Both her real life husband and in-game husband, Castmodean, a longtime Foundry author, a one-time host of Starbase UGC when it was around, and just all-around cool guy. Castmodean plays our science officer, Quentin Reynolds.
I have something witty, but I don't remember what it is. So, hi, everyone.
Our ship is an interesting ship in the fact that on board there's something that I don't remember seeing all that often in actual broadcast episodes, but there is an all faiths chapel, because there are many in Starfleet, even though there is no kind of official religion. The Bajorans have a religion that they follow. The Rygelians are a very religious people. So there's an all faiths chapel on board, and our ship's counselor is Chaplain Viktor Whateley, and he is played by the GrumpyOldNord, who is doing us the favor of streaming us tonight.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. I am pleased to let you know that the chaplain is in and counseling sessions shall continue as regularly scheduled.
We have a friend of ours from Twitter, Jarylan, who has made a science officer who is also a pilot, using the race created by Duncan for the Foundry, the Ibi. You've probably, if you're familiar with Duncan's stories, you might know a little bit about them. If not, you'll hopefully learn a little bit about the Ibi tonight. Jarylan plays Kara Jun'Rani.
Greetings, everyone. Let us adventure for those we have lost and for those we may yet save.
Our chief engineer is another longtime Foundry author, Bazag. He created his own race that exists somewhere between the Gorn and the Saurian in appearance, a reptilian species called the Saur, or is it Sauri? I don't know. I'll let him correct me there. Baz plays our chief engineer, Ryk'Tyr.
I would have something witty to say, but pretty much everyone has stolen what I was going to say anyway. So, it's so. And it is indeed an honor and privilege to serve with all of you.
We have one other, I'm going to call him a guest star because he's not in every episode, but he's been with us a few times in playing our game. A security officer who goes by the name of Janek Rosso, played by GreenDragoon, who was one of the hosts of the Foundry Roundtable when it existed.
Hey, I'm a red shirt who is continuing to fail to die on the mission.
We also, since I know, or Nord says that some of our chats will be seen on the stream. I don't have the stream up for myself to watch because it's going to be, for me, it takes place in our normal Discord channel. But we have a player who plays an exocomp, an exocomp who is gaining sentience. He's a broken machine. There are people that have called him a broken machine, or it. Oakley is a character that exists sometimes in the background, but very often in our chat. Oakley will very, very often in the chat. What Oakley will do is he will mention something that is happening, that Oakley is doing, and because Theta doesn't do mic, we incorporate that into the game through our actions, and someone will talk about what they do. And of course, last but not least is the one officer on the ship who can take Marcus Graves out of the captain's chair. There's only one officer on any Federation ship that can take the captain out of their captain's chair, and that is the doctor. In our case, our doctor is a smooth Lando Calrissian-like Trill with long red hair and runs a heck of a sick bay. That is Dr. Eli O'Connor, and he is played by our friend Nick, also, who we all met through Twitter.
I am I'm Dr. Eli O'Connor. That's half Trill Q. And remember, you saved the best for last. I am as suave as the days are long in summer.
Well, all right. Now that we smooth like sandpaper, we say in chat. As last time on Star Trek Reliant.
Wait, Q, I hate to interrupt you.
You're right.
We are forgetting something very, very important, as we have something new this time.
I know, and I totally forgot. So, roll the tape. Do they still say that?
I'm sure someone does.
Oh, wow, we have an intro graphic now.
Hell yeah.
In the form of like your classic Star Trek openings.
Probably gonna ask that. I just turned it up. Yes, they can hear us.
Pay no attention to the guys behind the intro.
What a pretty ship Thomas made. Gosh. I love, when we see cinematic shots of things, and
I want to squeeze and hug her.
I do too.
They can hear you.
Shh. It's okay.
Okay.
I want to call her George.
Is this a good inside voice?
So as everyone can tell, we're definitely professional Star Trekkers. We're not amateurs in any way.
We are the MST3K of Star Trek.
Kind of.
I was thinking that very thing.
That would be a fun time
Wow.
to actually just watch old Star Trek episodes and make fun of them.
If we ever do this again, I want a silhouette of Kara's head at the bottom, like she's watching this.
Lord, why are there 3 Kendras?
Oh, we'll figure it out.
She's just that good.
We cloned Kendra!
He's just making his adjustments there. So, I am fully back on Discord, not watching the pretty intro anymore. And so while Nord gets all of the faces that were, by the way, done For the most part, I think Duncan, you did all of the art breeder.
Yeah, I did the
features for
art breeder.
us.
GreenDragoon touched up Kendra and Eli because I struggle a little bit with facial details with doing the photoshoppings, but then I also did some other updates. So yeah, this is all art breeder using STO screenshots.
Very, very cool.
So
those,
Q, that was one of the things I forgot to mention before we went live, is so the way this is going to have to work is you're going to have to kind of give me a heads up. Where are we? Who's there? That way I can adjust everything on the fly as we go.
Oh, okay. I would say just keep everybody's, the main crew's images up if you want to. I'll try to take just, take a pause so you can get things, so you can get things going. When we need to take little pauses, just let me know. I'm totally okay with that. The place I want to start is what happened on the last episode of Star Trek Reliant. For players of the Star Trek Online game, some of you may, somewhere around level 10 or 11, run into the ability to start entering PvP zones. Like the big one is the Karat War Zone in the Neutral Zone. And our story so far has been not centered around, but the background, the universe background, the story of what's going on is that the Klingon War is at its height toward the middle of 2409, the middle and going into the fall. We're looking at what would essentially be late August on Earth, and the Reliant was assigned away from her normal patrol, which was an exploration mission, to go to Deep Space K7 and get new orders. By the time they arrived at K7, the orders had arrived, and the Borg had also arrived in the Karat War Zone. So what was originally going to be the Reliant was originally going to be assigned as a medical support ship in the external areas of the war zone, and by the time they arrived to get their mission orders from Commander Naomi Wildman at K7, they found out that the Borg had started building something, and that the battles in the war zone had not necessarily been going great. Their mission was now not just medical, it was also rescue. And when they arrived, they also got a few new members of their crew. When we introduce NPCs tonight, we'll try to give a little bit of an idea of what they look like, and in one case, in two cases, if they both appear, why they were introduced. So the Reliant appeared in Karat, and after a mission that involved saving the ship, which was the command of the officer who had commanded their cadet crews, they found the USS Texas adrift and being assimilated by Borg. They mounted a rescue mission that was successful for the crew that were still alive and had not yet been Borged. And when they attempted to, or when they started to leave Karat, another Starfleet ship, the creation of our very own Bazag, the USS Basilope, was destroyed within. We saw a quick shot of, if you were watching an episode, we'd see a bridge that you don't recognize, and we saw the destruction of the USS Basilope as its captain sent a tight band Federation communication signal. They had a kind of, what do you call it, a black box mission or a top secret mission, where the command knows that what Borg is built, what the Borg are building in the system is a transwarp gate, and the mission that the Reliant now has is to get on board the Borg structures, the construction structures, and scan at least 4 computer terminals that will give them the codes they need to, essentially, because the gate is still being built, they have an opportunity to blow the joints of the gate construction so that they can, explode the gate and make it not usable. And at the very least, if the Borg are still there, it would make them start over. But hopefully, it will put an end to the Borg activity in this sector. The reason that we have a Klingon guest tonight is because the Reliant, first the captain sent out a call to the Klingons that in translation, we know only a fool fights in a burning house. And the Klingon captain who had attempted to destroy them must have agreed, because he gave them a response, and now the Reliant is ready to send. They're flying toward the Borg structure, accompanied by 3 cloaked birds of prey, and they are ready to. Essentially, once the team is chosen, they're ready to send a team aboard the Borg structure to get those codes and then get back to their ships. At the same time, the Reliant, along with the 3 warbirds in space, may have to deal with whatever response the Borg mount to such a thing. And so our first scene this week picks up on the bridge of the Reliant with the crew who is normally there. That includes mostly almost all player characters, and the Borg structure is literally coming within transporter range, and it's time for it would essentially be time for the captain to give the orders and pick us up. We're going to be transporting a team, so I'm going to shut my mouth now and let my players handle that first scene.
All right, so Captain Marcus Graves here. We needed to send an away team to handle those data terminals and to get there get there back as quickly as possible with little complication as possible. So to that end, I want Janek Rosso with me. Ryk'Tyr would also be a good bet. Quentin, Kara, and Alenis, you should probably stay with the ship and make sure we are in a good position to have quick evacuation. I'll be joining the away team. Eli, how do you feel about going down?
Down there with all the Borg? No, thank you.
All right.
I'm just a hindrance if I go.
From the security station, Bryce, who isn't he doesn't stand. He kind of sometimes has the main tactical console, but at the moment it's Janek Rosso who's at the main tactical console. And Bryce is an officer that was introduced in the last couple of weeks because we. For the audience who don't know all of our characters yet, and for our guests who don't know all of our characters yet, he was introduced to simulate the lifetime rewards that players get in the Star Trek Online game. And so he is an android officer. And since this is set after Picard, he is a Maddox Series 2 android. There are 5 of him that exist in different places in the galaxy doing different things. This one's name is Bryce, and in appearance, he looks like the young Commander Maddox that you would all Star Trek fans would remember from the not the Drumhead. Is it the Drumhead? No, it's Measure of a Man.
Measure of Man.
Measure of a Man. Yeah. You would remember what he looks like from Measure of the Man, and so now when Eli's response is, I think I'd just be a hindrance down there. From he steps away from the security station so that he can face the whole bridge, and he says, "Doctor, with your ability to disconnect Borg from with your ability to disconnect drones from the collective, be it fast or slow, could prove to be a valuable asset. And he looks to you, Marcus, and says, I'd be willing to see to the doctor's safety.
On board the ship?
On board the Borg vessel, if he goes.
I think we're going to be good with him staying on board in case we need to have any emergency medical treatments on our way back. We've got our emergency transporter tags, and if one of us has been compromised by the Borg, we definitely want to have a first person available to take care of that situation. Also, we don't want to lose him to the Borg as well.
Speaking of those tags, sir, I was going to recommend you take them with you, but keep in mind that the Borg have slowly been adapting to them. Best case scenario might be using those to get off the Borg ship rather than attempting to use them offensively against the Borg.
Sounds good. We weren't looking at doing too much recovery operation on this one, and we do have a little special surprise in case we need to in a pinch. So that leaves Chaplain Whateley. Do you have a preference, staying or going?
I go as I am told, sir. Where do you think I would fit best?
Let's see. How are you with your telepathic abilities in proximity to the Borg versus at range? Can you keep certain impulses in check?
Whateley gets you guys, you've not really seen Whateley shaken by all that much, except for the incident with the Borg. And when you ask that, his eyes widen a little, and he kind of glances off to the side like he's thinking, and then he just looks back at you and says, I can do as I am told, sir.
All right, Maddox, I want you to come along and keep your eye on Chaplain Whateley. We'll separate him into, teams of 3. So Rick, Whateley, and Maddox will go as one group. Me, Ensign Tardigrade, and Jenna Grossa will go with another group. Also Ryk'Tyr.
Bryce nods, and as he's stepping toward the turbo lift, he says, just Bryce, sir. Do me an honor by giving me father's name, too. And kind of cocks his head in that that weird, you know how Data had that like weird little head cock? He has the same, like, you know, where his head just like tilts to the side. He has the same thing. It just goes goes to the right instead of the left, and walks into the turbo lift with the rest of you who are going down to the transporter room, and Kendra takes the center seat. Your scanners on board the bridge. You have trying to remember. I have to go look at our wonderful list of characters. You have Virok moving into the tactical station. You know him a little bit as he's the half Vulcan, half Romulan security and tactical officer. And we then cut to a Klingon ship. It's not on the bridge. We cut to a Klingon transporter room with a very animated and almost angry first officer. He's a tall Klingon and certainly not as old as the person he's talking to. His hair is neatly pulled back, rather than some kind of, you know, wild style. And he's wearing that kind of, you know, classic Klingon armor uniform, and he is saying, we're picking up on that scene, essentially, Captain Karn, with your first officer on board your Burrell saying, I do not think this is a good idea, Captain. We should just let the Federation dogs handle whatever they need to handle over there on their own. And you've probably already made the decision to beam over there and make sure it goes right.
So you would hide behind the Federation skirts while the Borg run rampant, First Officer. Is that what you are telling me?
No. Honor to you and honor to your house, Captain. And he gives you that Klingon salute and waits for the transporter officer to go ahead and beam you off. And the next moment that we all see, we're going to go ahead.
But right before I beam out, I give the transporter transporter chief that look of like, try to make sure he doesn't run a fucking coup again on this ship. Oops, sorry.
Yeah,
while I'm gone, try to make sure.
Swearing is allowed. Swearing is allowed.
Right, but I'm hosting this. So.
You rated me before. You know better.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
Goodness.
But anyway, yes. So I give him the like, make sure this guy doesn't try and run a coup again while I'm gone.
I like that. I totally like the idea that your first officer has already tried once.
Yeah, I've just got a Starscream on board.
That's awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and skip the away team gearing up so that we see the cool harness as you guys appear on the Borg structure, and we have 6 Federation officers, I believe, appearing in Federation transporter beams on one of those, dark and elongated, stretched out, has green wiring and technology that runs through it everywhere. You see yourself, those of you who were on board the Texas saw some of it where it was being assimilated, but you now see what is a fully Borg-built structure. Your team appears, and you didn't know that the Klingons were going to send someone as well as that kind of silvery blue Federation transporter beam dropping all of you off. There is that additional sound of the slightly. I want to say it sounds more angry, almost the sound of a Klingon transporter beam as the red light like moves to the side, and you see this old Klingon appearing on the Borg ship with you. I don't know how you would be armed. You'd probably be carrying a batleth, I imagine.
Yep. Batleth on the back and a disruptor pistol on my hip.
Right.
Which he's got his hand on, but has not drawn, as he looks at you all warily.
And the Federation officers that arrive, Nord has put their pictures up, minus the. Actually, Eli is not there, but Nord has gone ahead and put the pictures of the team going on board, and the image for Bryce, for Lieutenant Bryce, would simply be, he looks like Bruce Maddox from Measure of a Man. But he also happens to be, as strong as Data, that kind of thing. And so you see these Federation officers appear, and all of you see this Klingon officer appear, and around you, everywhere, is a Borg structure. You can see off in you can see that off of the side of where you are, you're on a catwalk next to a wall that looks down on huge spaces that have Borg construction machines, would be the only way that I could say it. They'd be like Federation work bees, but they're larger and kind of bulkier and more geometric in shape than the work bees really are, and they are moving huge panels of huge panels around to be building other rooms and to be building other things. And that is the situation that the 6 of you, or the 6 of you from the Federation ship and Karn, find yourselves in here. And sorry, my mute just went on for a second. You find yourselves on this gigantic Borg vessel. The sounds of machinery and large chunks of metal. This is an active place. Borg noises. Yeah, some
Borg noises.
Armin just said they are Borg noises. So,
Janek doesn't bring up his weapon fully, but he can noticeably stiffens as soon as the Klingon appears.
Marcus just gives him a nod and just says, "Hey."
Greetings,
And he-
honorable Federation foes.
I like how we've upgraded to honorable, but fools or
You have-
foes, did you say?
I believe it is a little of both. But you did not shoot me as I was phasing in, and that is somewhat honorable.
I would like
Someone's
to make
good.
a quick note now. This is the first time that any of, if this were an episode, this is, we in our last episode, the captain gave the order to Ensign Tardigrade to get the special harness, and this is the first time we see what the special harness is. Would you like to describe what you're wearing outside of normal Federation uniform, Marcus?
So my away team gear has been very specially prepared. It consists of a forward harness strapped around my arms like a backpack, and then going to the front of my body. What you see held in the front there
Do you
is a
have
small
the tardigrade strapped to your chest like a baby?
Yep. So Lieutenant Tardigrade, or Ensign Tardigrade, is strapped to the front of me and just has his claws out in attack position because he's mad. He wants to, get the mission and just make sure Marcus is safe. So
Karn looks at you and says, I did not know the Federation brought their children into combat. Congratulations on your particularly ugly baby.
Marcus just he sort of just looks completely nonplussed and just blanks out, and his sense of reality is starting to shatter a little bit of just having that conversation with a Klingon captain on a board ship, and then he just says, we like to provide experience." And that's as most as he can possibly get out of that situation. And then he's just sort of looking around and is probably thinking about the mission. And we got to go find those data nodes. So he says, do we have any leads on where the first data node may be that we need to interface with?
Yeah, so Ryk'Tyr's already got his strike order out and starting to scan for structural and power conduits and any indications where these nodes might be and how to get there.
Okay, that is our first roll of the game. You need to roll a reason and engineering check. That gives you a target number of 16. Your focuses do not apply, so your critical range is only a 1. And I have a load of threat. I'm going to throw target numbers of 15. I'm going to throw 2 of that threat at you and raise your critical range to 18 to 20.
Do we have any momentum?
No.
No momentum.
You will build it as the game goes on.
You guys
All
totally
right.
could have let me go with hey, the screen says we're full. That means we're full, right? But no, you had to talk me down from that.
Hey, I was telling you that it was Hippie's decision, and Hippie has made the call.
Alright, so yes, as you can see, we've got a little markers down the bottom of the little overlay that GreenDragoon made for us. So yay for those. So roll.
Aha!
Wow.
That didn't have
that
the
is,
extended crit range. I mean, it didn't matter, but just note it.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't put that in. But it's not coming up on stream, so that was a 4 and a 15 for 2 successes.
Yes, it was. That's 2 successes. You pick up a data node that is, it's not far away, but it's going to be through the hallways. Essentially, you turn to your right and see, a Borg hallway that is where you'll need to go. That's where you're picking up the first data node.
The first node's through this way.
Bryce pulls up his phaser rifle and essentially follows Rasa Genix lead on that. Where the two of you, as the security officers, would probably be the first two down that hallway. So, as this group begins to walk into, a hallway, not a big. You appeared in a big open space, and now you're moving down into a hallway that has that eerie green lighting, kind of, bouncing off the walls like a visual echo, really. And as this group of Starfleet officers with a Klingon start to walk down that hallway, we're going to cut back to the bridge of the ship, and we have some of our officers. I'm going to give Nord time for that because we are going to switch between the cube and the bridge of the ship. So on the bridge, we have Alenis sitting in the center chair. We have Dr. O'Connor in what essentially is what most people would think of as Counselor Troy's seat on the Enterprise bridge. That would be where Eli would be. And shockingly, did Nord go on the mission? Did Viktor go on the mission? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Whateley is on the mission. He was talked into it.
Then, actually, there's no one in the first officer's seat. We have Kara sitting at the pilot's chair, and we have an NPC who's a backup officer who's at the secondary pilot position. We have a Klingon Federation officer who, ever since these missions, nobody's really befriended him. He's been an NPC that doesn't have much to say. But you guys will notice that since these missions that have, had you were assigned essentially to go fight, his people, and he's been having. Whateley would probably be the one who really knows, but Eli also has minor telepathic abilities. Your Klingon officer is having struggles, but still doing his job. And Quentin, of course, is at that seat at the science console, being able to scan for everything. And Quentin, you are the one who first picks up a group of 6 of the smallest of the Borg ships that you've seen here, those kind of pill-shaped probes, as it were. You pick up a group of 6 of them moving in on your position, and at the same time, from the tactical station, at the same time as you pick that up from the tactical station, Virak says, "Sir, we're in danger of being detected. We've got Borg moving in."
Kara quickly tosses aside the solitaire game she was playing. I thought we were cloaked! I was promised cloaking!
To which Virak says, "I don't think those Klingon ships can extend their cloaking fields."
So
Suggestions, anyone?
Stay close to the structure. That's the best I can think of.
We could try powering down again like we did when we were doing the rescue mission with the Texas.
We could do both. I could try to attach us to the structure and power down like we're just some wart there.
I wouldn't actually touch the structure after what happened with those arms.
Okay, nearly touch.
Go ahead and do that.
Aye, ma'am.
You're going to be needing to make a roll here, Kara, a piloting roll. Let me bring up our magical drive. It has all your character sheets in it.
Don't forget the cheat sheet, which makes your life easy.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like life easy.
Hey, stop sounding
well,
like
to that
me.
I can only say I tried.
You need to make
him a paper copy.
You need to make a control con roll, which for you is a target number of 16. You have a focus in ship flight and piloting, which means your critical range is anything under a 5. I'm not going to throw any threat at this particular roll.
We need a threat counter for you on the screen.
You know, as I've said, I'm a Luddite. I have a piece of paper in front of me that I'm tracking my threat with.
Okay, I rolled a 5 and a 1, which would normally be 4 successes, but because I'm also augmented in control, I actually have 5 successes.
Whoa!
That sounds
So,
like some momentum to me.
As you maneuver that sounds like a really big mess. As you maneuver the ship into position, kind of almost bringing yourselves almost to like a vertical what do you call it, like a vertical orientation, so that you like glide in close to the structure. You guys gain 3 momentum out of that, by the way. So your momentum counter can head up. You guys have 3 of it now, and as you finish your maneuver and get yourself close to the structure, Eric says, "Sir, the Klingons are hailing us."
Well, since Alenis isn't saying anything, on screen.
On screen.
Okay,
On screen.
there we go.
Okay.
Sorry.
The face on screen, of course, you see a Klingon bridge behind him. The face on screen is a younger Klingon with his deep brown hair pulled back, very very nicely. As I said earlier, he seems to be a large man. Like, imagine him being played by like a big football player. And he says, "Curious what you're doing, Federation."
Kendra, that's you. Okay, I guess I'll do it then.
I'm sure Kendra's here. She just might not notice that she's muted.
Well, I'm in a chair, so I can still say something.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't hear what was said.
Oh, the Klingon officer appears on screen, Kendra, and says, "I'm curious what you're doing, Federation."
Just getting into position and staying out of sight.
We detect them too. If they come too close, we're going to have to deal with them. You understand? And we count on your little bucket to help with that.
Kara speaks up before anybody else says, "Hell yeah!"
Good. And there's a tense moment as he cuts the transmission at good, and the transmission cuts back to your normal star screen and what your sensors are showing, and you see these 6 vessels, and they are definitely coming toward the area that you are in, and the thing that you see isn't what you probably expected. The Borg probes, 3 of them fire at an empty area of space, and one of the Burrells appears. And as it is hit by the plasma beams, it of course decloaks, but it also, because when they're in cloak, they don't have their shields, it also suffers a massive amount of damage to its left wing. It's almost blown completely off by the attack from the 3 probes, and the other Burrells appear in a strafing run as a space battle begins. Now, you are close and could very easily just move yourselves and go right into the fight. But it seems like the Borg, they detected the cloaked ships. It looks like that's what your best guess, Quentin. Actually, make a science roll. You do have scan data for what's happening right here, so you very well might know. You need to make a reason science check. So your target number is 15 and none of your focuses apply. So you get 2 dice with a target number of 15.
I don't get to move the ship either?
Oh, yes. Someone else put a 1d20 roll in the chat because Quentin can include the ship. Quentin got 2. Nice. That's a total between Quentin got 2 successes and the ship adds a success because
the ship totally did not get a success. It was an 18.
Oh, you just didn't put a range in there. I was only looking what successes. So that's okay. You still got the 2. It doesn't build a point of momentum, but you still can tell exactly what happened. Quentin, you can tell that the Borg, specifically when they were coming in this direction, it appears that their directed scans were looking for give me techno babble for what kind of energy.
Tachyon emissions.
Tachyon emissions. That's it. That's
ionized gases.
That's how ionized gases. That you can tell that their directed scan of the area was looking for cloaked ships. They weren't looking for you. They were looking for Klingons, and they found them. And now the remaining 2 Brels are moving into attack position and into combat with these 6 probes. What would you all like to do on the bridge?
I have an important question. The probes, are they going after the wounded ship first, or are they turning their attention to the armed ships?
Don't know. It just happened. It literally, they had their action, which was fire on the one ship. Until the Borg take another action, you won't be able to discern what their tactic is going to be here.
And that'll be too late. Okay, with apologies to Alenis, Kendra, Kara immediately moves the ship from where it is and interposes the Reliant between the probes and the wounded Brel without asking.
Ooh. I like that. We see on the view screen,
Kara,
that
what are you doing?
Kara, what are you doing? As we see on the view screen, the Reliant, we see it from the bridge's point of view, so that kind of moving star effect as you sweep around, and you don't have to get into engagement range because the other 2 Barrels have taken care of that, and you manage to move the Reliant. You're definitely visible now, but you move yourself in front. Kara, you are successful. Don't even need a roll to move the ship in front of the wounded Burrell. Remember that what we put in chat doesn't come up super fast. And when we're playing just on, just us and not broadcasting it, we all look in our game chat. So what things that you're
Kara
saying
basically
in
just
chat,
says, Kara just says,
just
I'm sorry,
say
ma'am, when asked what she was doing.
And I said, I was going to order you to do that.
Well, then we're of the same mind.
Nice. I like it. So, Baz, is there such a thing as initiative in space combat in Star Trek Adventures?
It just sort of alternates between the two, any sides. There is a way you can spend momentum to keep the initiative on your side, but you can only really do that once, and it's 2 momentum. Or 2 threat for the.
That's a lot of momentum. Although going first is a good thing. In this case, I'm going to make 2 rolls for our friendly Burrells, I'm going to say that the weapons officers on board those Klingon ships are skilled and focused in the weapons that they're using. So the first one succeeds very well with his disruptors. He gets the first Burrell gets 3 successes firing on one of the Borg probes, and the second, it's 2 successes. What so people that are listening and have never heard us before, Bazag is also kind of our game guru. He knows the rules really well and often can tell us what results are and such. So in this case, Baz, 2 Burrells have fired successfully on a Borg probe vessel. What would be the result?
All right, so we need to do the damage dice for them, which is I think Burrell's a scale 4.
Okay, so what do I roll?
So let's say roll 2 lots of D8, 68, 8d6. Sorry,
8d6. Gotcha. So there's that, and 8d6 again. Oh,
I reckon we should use 2 momentum to re-roll because there's a lot of 3s and 4s in that we can.
You guys can offer I'll let you do it because you're not doing it for your own ship. I will let you do it for the cost of 1 momentum, actually, to give your ally a re-roll.
Yeah, so with both, we could do it once for each of the attacks.
I will let that be a vote between Kendra, Kara, Eli, and Quentin. You are all on the bridge. Do you want to re-roll both of those?
I would say aye.
Go ahead and re-roll.
Yeah, reroll.
We can just re-roll the stuff that was 3s and 4s since they're no damage. So that is a total of 4 for each. So
roll
do
4
4d6.
Nice.
And then add 4 to that.
Okay. Oh, I did it. I of course input the wrong command. So in this case, we got again. That one looks like none. Correct.
So that was that's we got 2 for the 2 5s.
Then that's
so that
6.
was 6 in total, and another one
is 2 5s and a 1. Is that a total of 3 plus 4 and 7?
That's 3 plus 4. So yeah, that's 7 for that second hit.
Okay. How much does it take to destroy? I believe they would be like size category 1 or 2. The probes. How much would it take to crumple their shields and destroy it?
Okay. Well, it would. Well, it's sort of 1 and 2 is sort of like the barrier. If it's 2, then the second one destroyed. If it's 1, then both are destroyed.
Okay, so what happens that all of you on the bridge see is that one of the Burrells in a strafing pattern does a good deal of damage, but the last couple of shots just go a little bit wide, and the probe is still in motion and not destroyed. But the second Burrell does one of those great and this one, Karn, this one's your ship, comes from that move of coming from beneath the probe, just fires disruptors, cannons, and I'm going to say for cinematic effect, a torpedo that just tears right through the probe, shattering it and leaving it in pieces as the Burrell comes up and has that cool look of a ship exiting an explosion. What would you like to do on the bridge of the Reliant? You guys have the initiative right now. What would you like to do? Your allies have gone.
I say we scan the wounded Burrell and check the status and see what we could do. Maybe an engineering team to help them?
Go ahead.
I
and make
agree
a
with
roll for
this
that.
as much as it matters being the con officer.
So yeah, I guess who's on sensors?
That would be Quentin.
Quentin, check the status of our wounded Burrell.
That's another scan check. Which was target number of 15, and no focuses apply. That from Quentin. Oh, there was a space in there.
Yeah.
I didn't. What did you say, Alenis? I did miss it. Just go ahead and say it again.
Quentin, you put an O next to it's not D-O.
we all. Oh
We
man, 2 successes. So the Burrell is badly the Burrell has very bad structural and thruster damage. It's not going to be able to fight, but you're not detecting any kind of critical, power or warp core overload or anything, but it has suffered severe structural damage. Your scans would also tell you that people, or rather the Klingons who were in that section when it was blown to pieces, they didn't survive.
How are their shields?
Their shields are crumpled. They're gone. They have no shields up right now, and the kind of structural damage that they're going to need their friends to tow them back to a starbase.
Can somebody please translate retreat into Klingon and send it to them?
Can we
Go ahead,
extend
Kendra.
shields to cover them?
You could. That would take a little bit of call it science trickery on Quentin's part, but yeah, you could totally extend shields to cover them.
I was also going to ask what the tactical situation is. How many probes do we have in the immediate area? Because if we extend shields, we're going to be relatively immobilized, which makes us a sitting target. Plus, I also need somebody from the engineering department to see if they can divert some of our structural integrity field to their ship to hold it together.
You put the call down to engineering, and one of Ryk'Tyr's people says, "We're on it, sir," and that's what you get. And you know that so far when you've asked engineering or security to do something, and they say, "We're on it, sir," that your crew has proven to be on it. So you can probably figure that your structural integrity field is going to be extended, and if you want it now is the decision. It is true what Quentin just reported, that if you extend your shields, you're going to be essentially immobile and have to remain within we're going to say you have to remain within 2 kilometers of a wounded Burrell. So your area that you'd be able to move and fight in is very low.
I can do it, ma'am. I can manage it.
How many people do they have on that ship?
Oh God, I don't know. Mike, do you happen to know what kind of crew complement a Burrell carries? How many?
I don't know numbers.
Yeah, neither do I. Same.
Just pick one
I'm
up.
Googling it.
It's not many. It's just a few dozen.
Yeah, I was
12
going to say.
plus it says.
Is it 12?
12 plus, so it could be.
So in this case, there are 8 dead from where the ship was hit, and there are 7 that are all in the bridge area of that ship.
All right. We're going to continue to fight. I want the transporter team to stand by to transport those Klingons off the ship if needed.
Ma'am, did we move all of the Borg drones out of the cargo bay?
Did. In game information, they're all in your sick bay now.
We can use that area as an emergency transport and probably grab them all at once.
I'd also like a security team in the cargo bay on standby in case we need to do that. They may not be very happy about being transported without warning.
and from
medical team. possibly for our security team, but
Yeah.
From behind, from the tactical station, Kendra, when you say they might not be very happy about being transported without explanation, Virik, the half Romulan, half Vulcan, looks at one of the other security officers and starts heading for the turbo lift, and he looks back at you, Kendra, and he goes, "Nor happy about being beamed aboard a Federation ship. I'll see to it." And he enters the turbo lift and is gone.
If it helps at all, ma'am, one thing we could do, she says while flying the ship nearly, sideways to get between the Klingons and the probes, we could let them know that we're going to evacuate them.
I have a feeling they wouldn't want us to do that.
Yeah, but at least then they'd know.
Better to ask forgiveness than permission.
You say better to ask
Agreed.
forgiveness. Say better to ask forgiveness per permission. Agreed. And for only the second time that this guest star has had a speaking role, the Klingon sitting it up says, "Not in this case. For them, today will be a good day to die. I promise you."
They
Dying
can
without
die
a
in
fight is
more
no way for a
useful way.
warrior to live.
Dying without a fight is no way for a warrior to live. And our camera cuts back onto a Borg ship. As the Klingon captain, we see that old Klingon face of Captain Karn. And there's room enough for three of you to be kind of leading the team. And in the opening, in the hallway, it's wide enough for three of you, and again, it's got that casting eerie green light, and dying without fighting is no way for. What did you just say, Kara? Dying without fighting is
Dying without a fight is not an honorable thing.
You said it was no way for a warrior to die or something.
Yeah,
like
no
that.
way for an honorable warrior to die.
A way for an honorable warrior to die. And Karn and Janek, the two of you are the first, along with the NPC Bryce, to basically round the corner and see this large Borg doorway. It's impossibly big. There's no reason for it to be this big. It's like 20 feet high. Really, it's like 20 feet high. And,
I know what you're doing.
What could they possibly need for a large
wherever I can. And so there's that doorway, and that is where you are, where you guys are picking up the signal of a data node is behind that doorway, and it also, the hallway also extends a lot farther, and you can see where it extends to. There are what look like regeneration nodes built right into the walls. As in, like, the hallway looks like it's one continuous width, but at a certain point, the walls become not assimilation nodes, regeneration nodes that are built into the wall, and from the distance that you're at, as all of you catch up and round the corner, from the distance that you're at, where the doorway is, you can't tell if there are any Borg inside of those nodes. Not with just the naked eye, anyway. So,
what if your Federation have a long-range scanner? You can check for this Borg drones ahead.
Ryk'Tyr, make it so.
Scanny, 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 scanny.
At this point, Lieutenant Tardigrade is just making growling noises in his own heart.
Scanny. For you is a 16 with do you have any skill or not skills? Does Ryk'Tyr have any focuses that would apply here? Nope.
I mean, energy stuff, but I don't think
Yeah.
so.
No, none of them apply. So it's just a standard roll with a really good target number. 16 is a good target number.
And is this engineering?
Yes, it's
I might as well get by dice with momentum.
sure. You guys are back down to none. I love it. And I
Because
still
that gives me cautious. 16, did you say?
yes. I still have.
And I do that too. So hang on. So that's 3 successes.
What?
Another night of rolling like leprechauns.
that was one of those DM pauses. Like I didn't think you were going to get that. So you earn a momentum back. Actually, no, you earn 2 momentum back. It's not that hard to find out that there are 10 Borg regeneration nodes down there, and 7 of them have Borg drones inside in them currently in their regeneration cycle.
7 out of the 10 have Borg in them. If we're going to do that, they're likely going to want to stop us.
Do we have any idea on how to open the door?
Do we have any idea on how to open the door? Bryce says, I do.
I was about to say the spirit of Kara appears and says, shoot it.
And actually, he doesn't seem to be like hoisting his gun when he says, I do. And he walks over and uses he has a tricorder that one of the things we established early on in the game is that, like, a science officer has a science tricorder, a medical officer has a medical tricorder. In this case, Bryce is a security officer, and he has a tricorder that he runs up as far as he, from pointed at the floor up to as far as he can point it above his head, and he says, I'll be able to crack the algorithm, and it's just a matter of figuring out how to get their interface visible. It's on this door panel, though.
How long will you need?
1.36 seconds.
Oh, well, that is much better than I thought it was going to be.
And he says that he says 1.36 seconds in much the same way as Data saying when he was like, I considered it, sir, for like point whatever seconds. In this case, it is like, yeah, and that's a lot quicker than Karn would have expected, because he looks human. Like, Karn does not know he's an android yet, right? So you're thinking this is either the fastest, smartest human in the world, or...
Well, I just have to say it because it was said in chat. Shakal Draconis said it. Bryce has a security tricorder, i.e. a phaser.
I.e. a phaser. I like it.
Janek was gonna offer to assist, but I'm not sure if there's a point.
He actually looks over and says, you have any idea how to make does anyone have any idea how to get the interface visible?
Well, one of Janek's focuses is computers, so...
Okay, make a, I love that. See, your character is not going to die because he has all these valuable skills.
Really, we know the real reason Janek's not going to die is because he has a name.
You named him. That was a mistake you made.
Wow, do I not have a character? No, I don't have a character sheet for Janek. So, in this case, it's going to be, I'm going to call it, you don't seem to be in a stress situation. There are no Borg immediately coming for you. So in this case, it's going to be control, and I'll let you do it with security. So your target number is 14, and yeah. Or what? Sorry, your target number is whatever. I was looking at someone else's character sheet.
Funny enough, Janek's security and engineering are the same, so...
Oh, interesting. Well, you can roll either one of those, and because you have your focus in computer systems, you have the extended critical range as well.
Can Rick assist?
Yes. Yes, you can. You may roll 1 dice for assistance. Oh man.
Hang on, I don't think I actually factored in the focus. That just increases the crit range, right?
Yeah, that just increases.
Yeah, so
Okay, I don't-
what's your security?
My security is 4.
So that would be 3.
And
Okay.
did Ryk'Tyr get 1?
I've got a complication.
No.
Rick, you're very good at this lately.
Yeah, there are 2 and
We should
actually
yeah,
3.
we should have. Well, we should have 4.
Kanek just earned 1, so that puts you back up to 3. If they burned 2 up in space to give the rerolls to the Burrell.
I thought we just burned 1 up there.
They gave both Burrells
Okay.
rolls. So
All right. So I think we should spend both to.
but you have 3. You'll still have 1 left if you spend 2 to reroll that complication.
Okay.
That's much
Get one
better.
back.
That complication becomes a success, and your group is currently at 2 momentum. I am currently at 18 threat.
Stop giving
16 threat. I
hippie
spent
threat.
2. All right, cool. Thank you for telling us in chat, Kendra, that our acting ensign is getting the nourishment she needs. Tell the little one that we love her. So with those successes and gaining back to 2 momentum, Janik, you are able to you notice something on Rick's tricorder that tells you essentially, if you ever seen one of those puzzle boxes where the surface of it is completely flat, but if you push it in one spot, like a button or something pops out. That's what you see something on both your tricorder and Rick's. They're yours is a security kind of more standard issue tricorder, and his is more specifically engineering. But you notice something that that both of them are showing that leads you to tap a section of the doorway, and when you do, this kind of keypad, but not in the kind of orientation any of you are used to seeing a keypad. It just kind of pops out of the side of the doorway, and as soon as it does, Bryce looks to you, Marcus, waiting for the order.
When you press the button, do we believe the Borg will wake up?
Probably.
Probably. So
Karn takes out his botlef. I assume you all have physical weapons that they cannot adapt to on your persons.
And forgive me, Q, I have to take control of Bryce very quickly. Bryce looks over at the batlef. Good choice.
Yep.
At this point, Lieutenant Tardigrade or Ensign Tardigrade just peeps up and just says, "Oh, I know, me, Rawr," and he just holds up his claws, and then just sort of like tries to get out of the harness, but it's sort of a little too tight for him, so he's just starting to wiggle a little bit. Marcus is just looking very uncomfortable in this situation, and he just says, "Let's just open the door."
Is it normal for ugly human babies to have the power of speech?
Careful. That those claws can also rend titanium.
I have trained my son quite well.
I have trained my son quite well, and unlike early data, you guys know that Bryce has a personality, and like he finds things funny. He already has, and when the captain says, "I've trained my son well," he actually isn't able to fully muffle the snicker. So it's kind of like a that as he's reaching for the number pad, and all of you see one of those moments of you, both Rick and Janik, with your tricorders, you recognize that the combination to open this door could be any of like thousands of possibilities, right? And his fingers, and Karn, this is another one of those, you didn't know that humans could do this if that guy is human. His fingers in his hand just move over the pad in that like way of like where we saw in the first season Data putting the chips back into the computer to restart the ship and all that. He is so fast that he, it looks like, and any of you who look at it, it looks like he's trying different codes. And as soon as he starts doing that, all of you hear a kind of an echoing voice from the end of the hallway, and that the end of the hallway that you had seen, and that echoing voice says, "We are Borg." And you see all 7 of the ones that are down there regenerating step out of their alcoves and turn towards you, and at least 2 of them have that red tactical laser that shines down the hallway. Or technological and biological distinctiveness will be added.
And technological distinctiveness will be added to our own.
Exactly.
Resistance is futile.
Shivers.
And they and just as they like finish just as they finish that statement, the door slides open. It slides open into 3 parts, 2 of them going up into the side and 1 of them just sinking down into the floor. And inside you can see fairly small by most standards room, the center of which is taken up by a large, how to describe the data node? It's a large, essentially cone of metal that runs from floor to ceiling, and it is surrounded by, I would call them like just hooks that come up out of the ground and reach up to like 6 feet. And then have the hook tips are attached to the central node. The whole thing has kind of a green conical force field around it, and there are 2 computer systems on the walls, 1 to your left and 1 more directly to the back of the room. And in addition to those, in addition to the 7 that are in the hallway that, have just turned towards you, when that door pops open, 3 Borg look up from their work. 2 of them were at the computer consoles, and 1 was directly at the data node structure in the center. And they all turn and look at their heads all turn first, look at you, and then you are obviously deemed a threat as they spin around, and 1 of them raises up its arm, and you can see the weapon that is formed grafted onto its left arm, and it fires, and we cut to commercial. For anybody who is listening, at about an hour and a half, we take a 5 or 10 minute break. For anybody who needs to refill their water, go use the bathroom, anything they need to do. So we're going to take about I'm going to call it 10 minutes here, and start at wherever it is, whatever time for you. When it gets to be like 35, like for me, it's going to be 8:35. That's when we'll hopefully all be back and ready to game. I hope that people listening, and I hope that you players are having a good time this week. So I'm going to once again do the I shut up now because I need to go get water.
And someone in chat just mentioned getting a minigun. I now want to mount a minigun on the back of Tardy and make a Tardy tank.
Yes.
Dang. Okay, so Hippie just left, but I gotta go use the bathroom real quick, but when Hippie gets back, can one of you guys ask him if there's something I wanted to ask permission from Kendra, like in character, like when we get back to the bridge. So can you ask him?
Yeah.
Oh, just pull a car. Don't bother asking.
No, because it involves leaving the bridge, so.
Just beam the Klingons on board and don't ask.
Anyway, I'll be back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
I don't know if you've noticed, Kale, but Kara's mentor back in the academy was supposed to be Tom Paris.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna go refill my water.
Just for context for Kara, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. It's just that Kendra's personality, she likes people to ask permission, unlike Marcus.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Although-
this is fine. I don't think this is going to cause any rift between Kara and Kendra. It's just the difference of Kara is very much of the I think there's something I can do, therefore I do it.
And Kendra is very much the let's make sure that people don't end up like getting killed because two people have plans that conflict with each other. Nobody asks.
The funny thing about that scene is that if Marcus was on the bridge, he would have immediately gone to Ensign Moon. Because he wouldn't have decoupled the ship and helped the Klingons, he would have stayed put. So I found that fascinating.
See, I was gonna tell Kara to do what she did anyways, but the fact that she didn't ask was why she was like, "What are you doing?"
I was about to say, there's no way that Kendra or that Kara would have asked. She saw people who were in danger and she moved to protect them.
Majored everybody on our ship.
Well, you know, we still have shields and everything. And weapons.
I was expecting for, like, you know, the probe, like, hey, we got the probe, and then a cube shows up.
No, it would have been a sphere first. That's usually how it goes. Probes, then sphere, then cube, then tactical cube, then diamond.
But hey, at least everybody's getting a very good reason why Kara is still an ensign and everybody else is being promoted.
I didn't know what your rank was. I mean, I looked on the sheets and it said ensign.
So we went ensign as the third officer.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem, Nord.
Yeah, you
that
could've-
sounds like a you problem.
And you could have updated yourself, too, with the graphics.
At the beginning, weren't you an officer at the beginning?
Actually, no, we can put it, we can even, like, roleplay it a little bit. Something happened, and now no one knows why except Marcus, but now Whateley's an ensign.
I'm just going to assume it involves alcohol.
I am
I
back
gotta...
with full water.
Maybe it means that like Mirror you was like this sweet little dormouse.
So, Q, exactly how many court-martials is Kara up to now?
I don't know. I don't know.
Be back in 1 minute, guys.
Okay.
I mean,
Listen,
would
as
court
long as it
martials
works in
imply
our-
actually someone
as long as it works in our
reporting her to command?
I mean, I guess that's the thing, is that who wants to actually bother reporting Kara, because that's all that's required. Oh, I'm not the tactical officer. I'm the Conn officer. The tactical officer is actually the NPC Bryce.
Actually, the tactical officer who is most often on board the ship is not on board the ship right now because she is off at doing another piece of the. She's off doing another piece of the Klingon War.
I miss
and
Larissa.
that is Larissa. That's your Zindi reptilian. The Zindi reptilian who like grabbed a drunk Whateley and kissed him.
Also, the same Zindi reptilian who held Kara against her boob so that Kara could sing drunkenly to Eli. Oh no, wait, that was Kendra. She was singing drunkenly to through the comm badge.
Nope.
Just for the record, the sex symbols on our ship are probably not the ones that the audience would normally choose.
Nope. Our Zindi reptilian. Everybody loves her.
That's going to be the spin-off show, is Everybody Loves Larissa. It's just going to be her going around being a badass.
Like, is this a like a Everybody Loves Raymond kind of thing, or more of a
I tend to think of Everybody Loves Larissa as like Rambo, but with a laugh track.
I like Rainbow with a
if Everyone Loves Rainbow was more of an action instead of a family drama.
I popped over there long enough to say hello and be like, I hope you guys are having fun, because I'm still intimidated about live broadcasting.
You're doing good. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah.
I mean, it's not any different to us recording it and sending it out exactly anyway.
The only difference is
more
the
immediate.
people who are judging your every move.
Yeah, I know. And I'll get all the tweets now, that say, that's not Star Trek.
We're having more fun.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
We're
God.
having it.
I can't wait to
Hashtag
get
not
back.
my Reliant.
I am once again having a really fun time with this crew tonight. And Kael, you're hilarious, man. Oh my God, Mike.
I realized I'm doing a Discovery Klingon voice, but my attempts at doing a regular Klingon voice have brought failure before. I can't do, Tony Todd deep.
Wait a minute. This Ninja Ula's already among us?
You do you, Klingon.
No,
I like
let's
where
see,
this is
what
going.
was-
This is just brilliant.
What was happening at this? We got a couple minutes here to let everybody get back. What was happening in the game storyline at the point in time when it was all the Klingon War stuff?
There
That
was the
was
Kuvama stuff, and
and there was the time travel stuff. It
There's
seemed
a lot
funny.
of hot stuff.
Yeah, that's true. They gave that was the I don't know if people in Nord stream still hear us, but our first
They can.
our first
They're making comments.
our first set of episodes had through the first bunch of it had three Orion sisters who they've been kind of a thorn in the PC's side, and they were intended essentially, and they filled the role, I think, pretty admirably of being the player, of being this game's Bavat, as it were. They were you might find this cool, Mike. In the Foundry, we used to have contacts that you could talk to on social maps like ESD in the First City and stuff, and three of those contacts that were in the First City was this trio of Orions that you could interact with in the bar in the First City. And so I was like, that would be great to have, like, a syndicate bunch of Orion sisters to be the kind of recurring nemesis.
It's a cool idea. We haven't done enough with the Syndicate. Although we did, the Cold Star, I guess, is technically a Syndicate ship, so they just
It is. I loved seeing the Cold Star, because, of course, I'm one of those people, I've tweeted at you, too. I'm one of those people who reads all of the storylines.
I know.
Because I love them.
I reread them all the Cold Star ones recently, because I had a we had a plan to hype up season 22 or whatever, 21. What was this one? Anyway, House Shattered, by making a prequel comic of how Audit Pa met the Cold Star crew for the first time.
Oh, neat.
And it was this cool heisty adventure, but I couldn't get the I couldn't take all 52 screenshots and get them organized at the time I had, because I can't draw for crap.
For the record, for the Orion ships, I still like the one that Q came up with, which I don't know where he came up with, but it was just the Iron Vault, and it was one of those big, like, slave master ships.
Yes.
Yeah, I like those three. They will eventually recur when we're done with Klingon war stories at some
Good,
point.
because
Obviously.
I got framed for murder by one of them.
I know you did. We are at 8:35 by my clock, and so that means is everybody back? Is anyone missing? I think I've heard everybody's voices. And that being the case, we get right back into the episode, and the first thing we see as we come back from break is not any of the characters that we have seen so far. Instead, we see the interior of a room on board this Borg structure. It is a data node room, as was described just before the break. And there are 3 Borg drones that are working at the data node. And they Borg don't communicate much with vocalizations, so our camera focuses in on the work that they're sending back and forth. This data node appears to be uploading partial schematics. You guys, the viewers would know by this point that our characters, our heroes here, don't need specific data nodes. They don't need to go only to ones that have to do with structural engineering. This one just happens to. And because we see stuff about structural engineering and kind of almost MSDs of areas of this ship that are not ship, areas of this structure that are being built. And we can see that one of the drones we can see has a mostly, human appearance with that whole, his skin has completely paled, and you can see the veins running through his arms with the with all of the tubules that run in and out of his skin everywhere. Another one that's there appears to be an Orion. And the only way you could really tell that, because he looks mostly human, it's definitely these two at the computers are definitely male. It's an Orion, and the only way you can tell is that a paling of his skin has resulted in a different color from what we normally recognize as Borg. And the one who is right at the data node and making adjustments to one of those large hook device type of things is shorter than your average Borg. And what we see of this Borg is that it has kind of definitely more of a feminine shape. This is probably a female, and their ears are really big. And we see them doing this work as we see it like going back and forth between their consoles. And then suddenly the door opens up, and there are these Federation officers and a Klingon standing there, and they all turn their heads and then turn because they've obviously seen you as a threat. And Graves, you recognize as the door opens and there's Borg in the hallway and there's 3 Borg in the room, you recognize that there's a Borg in the room that is someone from your past. The one that is closest to all of you, because she was working on the data node on the hooks directly, is Sesta Jagoro, a character from Graves's past who was Borgified some months ago at Battle of Vega.
I should also like to point out that this is another Ibby, just like Kara.
Yes, that's where the big ears came in. Sorry, I didn't mention that, and I should have for the listening audience. And so that is your setup. You've got 7 Borg in a hallway coming towards you. You've got 3 Borg in the room, one of who you recognize. Those of you who are present at this encounter, I'm going to shut up now and let you start telling us what you do.
So without speaking, Marcus, so
are Ryk'Tyr and let's see, and Karn, are they within arm reach?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without saying anything, well, actually, and he'll say something in a moment, but Marcus immediately puts his arms out, grabs the Ryk'Tyr and Karn, and says, "Let's get to work." And then that's the cue for Lieutenant Tardigrade to spore jump behind the four drones.
Ooh. You mean the 3 in the room or the 7 in the hallway?
Oh, there's 7 in the hallway. Okay, we got to flank the 7 in the hallway. So we're going to the 7.
Nice.
So
So you're going to spore jump behind them?
Yeah.
here's a thing. I was going to say it right before we went to break, but I didn't want to interrupt the break. But as soon as Whateley saw that we had been deemed a threat, Whateley had a thought.
Uh-oh.
Obviously, the Borg are biological beings with brains, correct? I mean, he can read their thoughts and all that. Whateley wants to test a theory. Whateley is going to try to make the Borg, and he's going to try to focus on the 7.
Okay.
No, not Kara. No, Kara, not that. Whateley is going to attempt to make them think that we are not a threat. And basically, in the process, he is going to try to, I don't want to say disconnect them from the collective, but try to basically make them think that his projection is the collective, if that makes sense. Like, they're going to pay attention to him and not the collective.
That makes absolute sense, actually. I totally hear what you're trying to do. Let me bring up your sheet. We are going to give you an insight. No, you know what? This is a stress situation. It's a daring and command roll. I'm going to say it's 8 and 4. Your target number is 12. And because you're trying to make your command or your thought feel like they're receiving something from the collective, to not see you as a threat. As Marcus and who did we say? Marcus, Ryk'Tyr, and Karn, as they disappear to reappear behind the group of 7, you reach out with your mind, and your target number is 12. And because of trying to make them feel like this is coming from the collective, I will let you use the focus of attainment of self-realization that will make your critical range a 4. However, I have 16 threat left. And I'm going to spend, your target number is 12. I'm going to spend 4 of that and make your critical range 16 and above.
If no one objects,
Not critical range, rather your threat range. Sorry.
I figured that's what you meant. If no one objects, I would like to spend a momentum on this.
Guys have 2.
Yeah, we've got 2 momentum. I can generate more on the fly, so we can do that.
All right.
Okay.
Spending momentum, and if I
do a
recall,
third
that
die.
gives... Okay.
Third die, your target number is 12, your critical range is 4, and your threat range is anything 16 or above. Oh, I love our dice roll. Oh,
no! You doomed us all.
And all of a sudden, Chaplain Whateley is the greatest threat the Borg have ever seen.
Oh my!
He just rolled 3 complications.
Okay. How much is it going to take to reroll?
Complications.
Determination. To get rid of all 3, you'll need to pop your determination.
Yeah, and let's see what Whateley has for his determinations, because it's going to have to be a determination that
his focus applies.
You've got well, if you want, he can spend his determination point to re-roll all 3 of those. And that would mean he's going to not have a determination for the rest of the game, but he also has to have a value that matches there. And in this case, what happens if you want to re-roll them all, and you can, is that as you reach out and try to make them feel like you're not a threat, you don't recognize that because you're so focused on trying to make yourself try to make your thought feel like it comes from the collective. You're focused on that. And all of a sudden, you feel a ping in the back of your mind. And you can re-roll now if you want to, before finding out how bad the ping in the back of your mind is. But you would have to spend your determination because you have the value of personal privacy.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm totally doing that. I may be a dumbass. I'm not that dumb.
Hey, re-roll all the exact same roll as you just did.
I'm not going to type in chat just before he rolls. Oh, look, he'll get all 3 complications because
I noticed
I was gonna say you jinxed it.
Is it possible he can get 4 complications?
No.
No! Why do you do this to us?
For everyone who can't see it, the dice roll somehow came up to 2 successes and 2 complications.
Because he got a critical success on one of them.
That gave us a momentum, right?
There are still 2 complications. So Whateley
Wait, hold on. So, we got an extra momentum.
Do have a momentum. You can add another die.
Well, here's the thing: is that we've got that extra. Like, we've got 2 successes. Does that count for another momentum?
No. He needed 2 successes to. He needed 2 successes to access the minds of 7 Borg in the hallway. And
so
try to make them think not a threat.
Okay, so I think we just got to deal with this.
I think you do too.
This is what we get for me always calling my psychic shenanigans our trump card. It finally bit us in the ass.
Right?
To be fair, it's kind of bit us in the butt, I think, like a second time, because there was that time on Ryza too.
So, Whateley.
Oh, I want to hear that story eventually.
So you reach out, Whateley, and you reach out to try to make these Borg feel like you're not a threat, and to do that, you have to make it seem like it's coming from the collective, and you feel a buzz, like a ping in the back of your mind, and you're like, I gotta do this, and your focus seems to work because as Marcus and Karn and Ryk'Tyr appear behind them, the 7 in the hallway stop moving. Like they were moving forward and they just stop. It's like something has them paused. And Janek and Bryce, who are at the door, having just opened it, you hear Chaplain Viktor Whateley say the words, "will be assimilated," and he grabs you by the throat. Janek, what do you do?
I like that being the first response. God!
I think Janek would he wouldn't be able to pull up his phaser rifle or anything like that. I think he's going to try to knock him out hand to hand.
Right on. What is a hand-to-hand roll, Baz?
An opposed daring security check from both of them.
Can Bryce help with this as well?
Bryce can offer 1 dice of assistance, yes, and I will roll that for him. So it is a daring security roll for both of you. Nord, roll for Whateley.
And I am.
No successes come from Bryce.
Don't.
And I do have a focus in hand-to-hand combat.
Nice.
Okay.
What's the
That's good.
What's the roll again?
To beat you up.
No. I mean the roll.
Daring security. So for you, that's a 10. Oh wow! Oh wow! So
no momentum is generated, but he does knock him out.
No,
No, the opposite.
no momentum is generated, and they are struggling because they both have 2 successes.
Ties usually go to the active player in these kind of opposed checks.
I like this. I like this.
Okay, the active player in this kind of check is the person doing the attacking. And Rosso, Whateley says you will be assimilated, and he grabs you by the throat and hurls you against the door frame enough to really knock the wind out of you, and you think you lose consciousness for at least a moment, because when you wake up, for at least a moment, so I'm actually going to hold on a moment to your senses coming back to you. Bryce is right there. Don't worry. He's going to do something. He's going to be helping. So Whateley, showing what looks like surprising strength from your chaplain, hurls one of your security officers into the doorway after doing, what we now as viewers, right, would recognize as his like Professor X moment. He tries to do something and then turns around like the collective got in his head. And that's exactly what happened. Whateley, you can't get it out now. You are part of the Borg collective, and you have no implants in you at all. They are in your brain. You are one of them.
You know those moments where you get an idea, you're like, ooh, this might be a good one. I ought to try this. I want you guys to look at those moments and just watch it pass you by. Smile and wave. Because this is what happens.
You see, Chaplain Whateley, when this happened with Kara last week, she rolled 2 ones.
Yeah, so it could be worse. And we see that happen at the doorway, and then Marcus, Karn, and Ryk'Tyr, you are behind these drones, stopped. They stopped like just as you appeared out of like the spore jump. Which has to be a new experience for you, Karn and Rick. As you appear.
Oh, hippie! I don't think you caught it. Karn is AFK right now.
Okay, that's fine. But what occurred for Marcus, and we can tell Karn when he comes back, for Marcus and Ryk'Tyr, was you saw them stop, look like they shut down, and it was only for like a breath of a second that happened, and then they look back up and continue to advance down the hallway, because right now they are essentially their connection, as it were, to the collective is stronger because someone is providing them, in addition to their technological links to the collective, someone is providing them a psychic link with the collective as well. So you see them pause and then start up again. They don't seem to have noticed that 3 of you like teleported essentially behind them. So let's start with Marcus and Rick, since we know that Karn is AFK for a bit. So Marcus, what would you do?
So in this situation, the idea was to do a flanking maneuver so we could take care of these 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I presume we've got anti-Borg grenades. Because that would be...
You have the grenades that Bryce, not illegally, but he used basically what like special access that he had. He got you guys some Borg static grenades, and now you have them. Yes.
Okay, I would like to throw one into the 7 to take them out.
Okay, what is a throw a grenade roll?
Actually, wait.
We did control security last time.
Okay, so let me just check the skills, because I can have one of 2 characters do this. So control for Mark. Oh, yeah. Let's see.
You probably want Marcus to do it.
Yeah, I want Marcus to do this one because Lieutenant Tardigrade does not have much control.
No.
Okay, and I can deploy my child in other ways. So I will throw one of those grenades.
Okay. That is a control security check. Get it to throw it and get it placed correctly.
And also, one of my focuses probably applies because I'm also a munitions.
If you have munitions focus, yes, absolutely applies.
Yeah. So what am I rolling for?
Control and security.
What's my number?
Oh, sorry. For you is 11 and 3 is 14, and your target number is 14. Your critical number is 3. I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 threat again, and say that your critical range is now 16 to 20. So that goes in as 2d10, 2d10, 14, 3, and then 16.
It.
Yes! A complication! Oh, sorry. I didn't
wait. Yeah, we've got 2 momentum. Let's go ahead and reroll.
I got enough complications we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Nah, there's never
So
enough.
reroll that 1. Asking question. You're muted.
Yes.
I hit the wrong button, my bad.
Sorry, I was the one who was somehow muted by my own hand. Yes, you roll the die. You roll 1 extra die, or you re-roll the 1 die with 2 momentum.
God dang it!
Oh
No, that's good.
no, it's not.
It's still,
No, it's
still an
still
application.
Oh,
Yeah, it's still 16's the range.
It's still a complication from a Borg static grenade.
So, everybody in chat, welcome to the last episode of Star Trek Reliant. We hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Get out of here. We can run away.
No, I totally have a good complication here. Because you also had, am I correct in thinking you had a success as well?
Yes.
So the success does put the grenade where it affects all 7 of them, and all 7 of them will be slowed to only having like a movement or an attack. They won't be able to do like multiple things.
You're totally going to make the complication that they start to adapt to the grenade, aren't you?
You went quiet.
Oh no.
We're all going to die.
We're not going to die, Kara. We're still on a ship.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure we'll die somehow.
Nah.
There you go. He's just
mid-season finale. The Titan will save us, right? Somebody,
Right?
Titan's
Kind
been
of
unheard
unheard
of
of.
for
You're
years.
Yes.
beyond the John Ha.
There you go. Hey guys.
Yep, I can be heard again. Good. The complication, something happened with my mic, and I just had to refresh the page. Sorry, guys. The complication is that the grenade goes off also close enough to the 3 of you that you can only tell because they make a popping sound when an electric spark like comes out of it at the same time, and your comm badges for the 2 of you, and also the comm device on Karn's wrist, all like make a popping sound and break. We're 100% certain that your comm badges are inoperational now.
Okay,
What
that's
about
fine.
our transport attack?
And that is your complication. Rick, what would you like to do while this happens?
Well, do we have transport attacks?
Yes, you do.
All right. Well, let's try and I think what I need to first do is try to stun Whateley.
see him he's out of weapons range.
Well, yeah, we can. Bryce is over there as well, so
Oh,
yeah.
Right, I was saving Bryce for the last action before we get back to
okay. Well, then in that case, I'll just slap transport tags on the nearby Borg.
Okay, that was again a daring security check because I'm assuming you don't want to run up and get close to one. You want to throw it.
Yeah, can I like? Can we like throw them?
Yes.
Yeah, we established that last episode.
Yeah,
And they're
so
magnetic.
I would rather throw them.
They are magnetic and they do work to attach to the board that way.
Okay, so I will. So that's control security then, right?
Yep.
And that's 16.
Your control security. Sorry, it's hard to pop between sheets. That's okay though. Yes, that's a 16 for you. No, it's a 15 for you.
Okay.
And you have but you have transporter focus, so your critical range is 4. Your 4 or below is your criticals.
Okay, let's do this. I'm just not grabbing a momentum. I'm just doing it. Oh yeah, 3 successes with a 1 and 11.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, the transporter tag spins through the air, and the magnet takes effect, and it lands on a Borg. It looks down, and because wisely your engineers, who were in charge of making these transporter tags, essentially, they remodulated the transporter frequency. In this first one, the Borg has enough time to look down as this tag like spins around and hits him in the shoulder. He has enough time to like look over, and suddenly all of them recognize the 3 of you as a threat, but he is caught in a transporter beam, and now there are only 6 of them in the hallway and 3 of them in the room. And over by the
one quick thing. We can probably guess what Karn would do in this situation.
He'd probably run and hit one with his batleth.
Yes.
But we will also let him just kind of go first when we cut back to the board queue.
And real quick, I do believe that gave us a momentum, did it not?
Yeah, it did. That does give you guys. You have 1. Back.
Oh.
Yeah, because I spent 2.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, hold on. Let me adjust that then.
See, I'm not even seeing what's happening. Don't
worry about it.
I hear that we're live.
There's some shenanigans. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's some shenanigans somewhere. So he is caught in a transporter beam, and the last thing that we're going to see here is on Genic. It's one of those like momentary, like you just took a hit, like you just like got thrown into a metal doorway, and you kind of like lose your senses for a moment, and as your eyes kind of readjust, and the rest of you just saw what happened from the other end of the hallway, as quick as he can, which is very fast for an android. Bryce has, I need to make a roll for him. What is our hand-to-hand roll, Baz?
Daring control. Opposed.
Daring control, very good.
That's double attributes.
Is it?
Daring and control.
Daring security, sorry.
Daring security, okay. So, he does not have hand-to-hand. No, he does have hand-to-hand as a focus, so. 2 successes. I need you, Nord, to make another daring security check, which for you is a 10 as your target number.
Oh no!
Wow.
But that's good. Wait, no, that's good because it's a complication for him.
It was also good because in this case, Bryce is the active character.
Oh, that's right. So it's only
even if it was a tie, Bryce wins by he's the active character, and so you don't see it coming because the Borg that are in your mind now, they don't know what Bryce is. They haven't encountered him. even though they've encountered data, they've never encountered something as advanced as the Maddox Model 2 sentient android, right? And so he turns around and super quickly grabs a hold of Whateley, taps and like restrains you basically with one arm, tapping your comm badge as he's like pushing you back against the other side of the doorway. And he taps Whateley's comm badge and says, "Bryce to Reliant! Whateley is compromised! Get him out of here!" Those of you, and we cut back to the bridge of the USS Reliant as the first report comes from your away team over the communications. You hear, "Bryce to Reliant. Whateley's been compromised. Get him out of here."
Beam him up.
You say beam him up, and the Klingon at op it says already sending it, sir. And the rest of you, Janek, as you're gaining your senses, you see Bryce restraining Whateley as Whateley is caught in a transporter beam.
Wait, since Bryce is holding on to him, wouldn't Bryce go too?
Nope.
Okay.
Not if they targeted. The reason that he tapped Whateley's comm badge is so they could target Whateley and not him.
Transporter room.
What's that?
Security to transporter room.
Security to transporter room. I love it. And
could we just beam him to the cargo bay for the normally Borg compromised crewmen?
Security to the transporter room, and shouldn't we beam him to the sick bay for normally compromised crewmen? And the ships that you just go back and forth, and the Borg, unfortunately, the 5 probes out there have initiative right now. Couldn't we just beam? Couldn't we just beam them to the transporter room?
Just out of character, I'm going to say that was supposed to be Janek's heroic death to prove the situation is serious. Cheated out of it again.
Failed again at being a red shirt. Oh man, these Borg are not doing so well.
Did they just explode?
No, they
accidentally launched their warp core instead of their torpedoes.
You can't just explode.
That's what it looks like from those numbers. Come on, you got a 20, you got a 19, you got a 19.
I know. I got the. I've got.
They're firing at each other at this point.
They're firing at each other at this point.
I don't know. I still like the idea that they launched their, warp core out the torpedo launcher. That's great.
Okay. Funny.
How is that physically possible?
Oh, sorry. That one is.
They don't have a centralized system, so they can just.
So the Borg suffer one complication. Unfortunately,
I saw 3.
One. No, the 19s are not a complication because no threat has extended their complication range.
I see.
So the only one that is a complication is the 20. Now the one that rolled 2 19s just fails to hit anything. Plasma beams just fire off into space. One of them. Wow, one of them. One of them. The shot goes wide that was aimed at one of the Burrells, and the pilot of the Burrell is obviously skilled enough to do one of those. What is the maneuver that spins your ship around? Like rock and roll or something like that in the game. What he does is as the plasma bolt streams toward their ship, he kind of rolls the ship so that the plasma beam goes over where the ship is, and it hits the Borg structure. causing, for all of you inside, you're going to feel the structure shake a little bit as the Borg hit their own structure. The other two, one just doesn't hit anything. Again, so we have three of them. Two of them just fired wide. One of them hit their own structure, and the other two are successful in a coordinated attack. Not necessarily going to. We probably should make the damage rolls again, which are they were 8d6. Baz, was that it? As threes, I know 3s and 4s don't count for damage. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 points of damage, and the other one is. See, all I remember is 3s and 4s don't count. Oh, that one was ugly. 1, 2, 3. The Klingon ship that is hit by the two probes both move in on the same Brel, the one that just dodged, and manages to get they managed to hit it, a nice hull shot along the side of the hull with a plasma beam that rocks their ship, but the Burrell is still flying, and it now goes to let me just for storytelling purposes see what the dice tell me. The dice tell me that the Klingons are hella good pilots, and the two Burrells that are left in fighting shape both obliterate together using. It does take both of them because some of their shots go wide and only some of the disruptor cannons hit, but they do manage to they don't destroy. It's not destroyed in as dramatic a fashion as the first one was, where we had a critical success in there. But the two of them combined do manage to blow apart one of the probes, leaving only 4. Now, so far, the answer to that question that you asked earlier, I believe it was Eli asked, do the Borg seem to be going for the active ships, or no, that maybe it was Kara. Do they seem to be trying to head toward you and the wounded ship? They seem to have focused their attention on the two that have proven to be the biggest threat. So we are on the bridge, and I'm going to do that whole I shut up now and let you guys tell me what's going on, because your allies have gone and your enemies have gone.
Yeah, sorry, I had muted myself before. Probably with the probes should have been more like a 4 or 5 damage dice, 5d6.
Okay,
we'll know for the
so that just means the Burrell was even less hurt than what I rolled. So I mean, it still took some structural damage, but it is by no means out of the fight. It got hurt. That happens when our ships fire big weapons at each other. So again, shutting up, letting you guys tell me what's happening on the bridge now.
Kara looks over her shoulder back at Kendra, watching the battle unfold. Ma'am, permission to fuck some shit up?
Hold on a sec. So what do we have left in the sky?
2 Burrells and 4 probes.
Quentin, you were saying something.
Ma'am, I can re-rig the tractor beams to repulse and hold any ship that's in our direct vicinity so that we can target their propulsion and weapon system, but I am going to need engineering to reroute power to the auxiliary systems.
All right, make it so.
Okay.
And Doctor, were you saying something too?
Yes, Captain. With your permission, I would like to leave the bridge and go check on our Klingon rescuees.
Did we actually beam them up?
No, you haven't beamed them up. You haven't beamed them up yet.
I'll meet them there, is what I mean.
Although
this point, we're just keeping an eye on them.
Okay.
With what just happened, Eli, I don't know if you missed it, but they said you did hear Bryce call back to the ship. Whateley has been compromised. Get him out of here. In which case they're going to need you probably, unless you're going to trust Dr. 3, which you might.
Although I don't know what we can do considering it's all mental.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let Dr. 3 go in this, so like he doesn't try to compromise me too. So
real quick, I should
Quentin.
just say that all we know is he's compromised. Kendra shouldn't know that it's all mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know that it's all mental. That
was out of character, anyways. That was just me.
Okay. Yep.
Me thinking as me.
So Quentin, your role for rerouting the power that you need and putting that power into your tractor beams to basically create repulsor beams to keep the probes, of which it does appear that in their fight with the Klingons, 2 of them are moving on your position. You'll be able to push them back away and also get a hold. The role for this is going to be, because it is a stressful situation, you don't get to call on your reason for it. You have to use your insight, which fortunately for you is the same as your reason. But it is an insight science roll, making your target number a 15.
Do I get the ship again at all on this? Or?
You do get a roll from the ship, and I was going to say I'm not going to add any threat to this roll. Oh, the ship does offer you a crit.
Which is good because Cast did not offer much.
Cast offered a complication.
Cast, you're not allowed to roll like me.
Console just blew up on me.
Oh goodness. No, the Reliant systems are basically set up. This is as we've established previously, the Reliant is basically top of the line. This ship isn't going to be in mass production for another year. You guys are basically flying, the absolute top of the line ship. So getting the ship to do what you want is not a problem. However, once you activate that, the real problem is you're not going to be able. You basically have to target everything within a certain diameter. Like, so it will also send the Burrell that you're next to pushing away from you. The complication is that you're not going to be able to push the probes away without also pushing the Burrell away. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys.
Give me a sec. I'm trying to find some information because I think I have a way that I can do a determination reroll thing like Marcus has, but I don't remember what it was.
It's the
What's your values? What do you reckon value would apply to this situation?
it's perseverance, I think. Well, let's see. Oh, it's talents. It's in one of those. So
Untapped potential, maybe? I don't know.
I think it's Spirit of Discovery.
Okay.
Where you can spend your momentum in order to generate you can spend your determination to generate 2 momentum.
Okay, you can do that, Cast, if you want to, or you can use your determination to simply re-roll because the answer is out there, or if you can't find a book on it, you'll write your own. Both of those.
I'm going to rewrite the book.
Okay, rewrite the book and make that roll again with your target number being 15. Crit range is, remember, your crit range is, not affected because your focuses don't apply. So it's still just a 1. 2 successes is way better. is way better than a complication, because the one success that you also get from the ship gives you another point of earned momentum, and you guys are now at 2. And so
one real quick, we got a crit from the ship. So does that
Did-
give 2 successes
that's
or just
4.
1?
That's 4. You build
Yes!
2 momentum. You build 2 momentum at this point, and
We're at 3.
You're at 3, and as the probes begin to move in, you do something that that your deflector dish is not supposed to do, Quentin. Your deflector dish is not supposed to be able to. What you're trying to do essentially has to be an area of effect. It has to be an area attack, and it's it seems like it would have to extend from all directions of your ship, but at the last minute, you just have like this. I'm writing no, screw this. I'm writing the new book, and you focus the effect that you're going for through the ship's main deflector dish, and when you do that, you're able to send. You are able to push both and lock them into these beams, at least until they're out of range, which is going to be 5 kilometers. You're able to push both of those probes back away from where your ship and the Brel is. It does not blow up the deflector, but you do, as you're doing it, see a couple of pretty important deflector systems burn out from rerouting so much power. But yeah, you rewrote the book and are able to do exactly what you wanted. That is going to keep them off of you and the wounded Brel. And now also on the ship, we cut to the transporter room, and as you appear, Whateley, you still feel like you are one of the Borg. You still remember being Chaplain Viktor Whateley, but you are now Chaplain Viktor Whateley of the Borg Collective. Just as you're appearing on the transporter pad, you're becoming aware that your designation is 42 of, and just as you're like, before your designation finishes in your mind, you see a Borg. You've seen the picture, and maybe we can share it for viewers on the stream. You've seen the picture of Dr. 3. She looks like a Borg. She does not. She may be liberated, but she still looks very Borgy. And your vision is suddenly filled with her face, and you feel yourself pushed back against the wall, and something very painful for a moment, and then you're yourself again. And you can see Dr. 3 holding you against the wall. The transporter officer, the 2 transporter officers at the controls look horrified and shocked and kind of not knowing what to do. She has you held against the wall with her left hand, and off of her right hand, off of the top of her hand, there are 2 tubules that have come out, and they are locked into the side of your head right now. And that's when you come back to yourself. What do? You're on the Reliant. That much is certain. You even know that you were transported here.
Whateley blinks, kind of assesses the situation, looks down at the tubules and at Dr. 3, and takes a breath, swallows a little, gives a little bit of a nod, and says, "Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate that very much."
Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate that very much. And she she releases the hold on you and says, "Tell me that again next time you taste lemonade. I'm sorry, but nanites will most likely have to stay in your system. I'm sorry, but the nanites will most likely have to stay in your system. And we cut back to the Borgified hallways where Bryce just sent him back, and he's extending a hand to help you up, Rosso. And looking back down the hallway where the 7 of the Borg now recognize that there are threats that are surrounding them at this point. And we're going to pick up in that hallway with Karn, because Mike was away telling his telling a bedtime story, I believe, and he has been able to rejoin us. And what you saw happen was that the Borg in front of you paused for a moment, like something somehow sent them a command to like stop attacking or whatever, and then they just started to move again. And as they started to move again, Ryk'Tyr threw a little kind of metal tag through the air, and it kind of spun through the air, and it looked like a magnet activated. It landed on the shoulder of one of the Borg, and they were caught in a Federation transporter beam. And it now is Karn's action. There are now 6 Borg directly in front of you in the hallway.
This is out of game question, but was the one he just rescued the one that Marcus already knew?
No,
No.
that one is still in the room. Those 3 have not been engaged yet.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about that, so I won't do anything about that in character. So Karn is going to do what comes natural to him, and say, I mean, it's obvious, but adapt to this as he brings his botleth down on the nearest Borg drone.
I love it. Adapt to this. That sort of attack is it's a daring security check, right, Baz?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
And the Borg has to do one as well.
Right. So your target number, Mike, is a 15. I'm going to say, actually, the focus of either inspiration or composure both would apply, making your critical range a 4.
Okay.
So, darn it, I should have opened this up long ago at this point. I should have had the core rulebook opened so that I could, where are we? Where is the core rulebook? Come on now. Why can't I find it? There it is.
I think Baz is typing in.
Well, I need to look up not look up. I need to I need to get the Borg.
Mm.
The Borg stats. I almost know what page they're on.
Hang on. I was just looking at that.
I was going to say, I almost know what page they're on. It's like 320 something. Because I've been using the book to look them up quite a bit. So, it's not 320. It's
322.
Yep, 322. So, yes, I have the stats for our Borg as well, and it's a control security check, Baz. Good.
Daring.
Oh, daring. Daring security. So
daring security. So 15, and then he said critical rating was 4.
Yep. 15 critical rating is 4. A success.
Yep, a success with no complications.
Which is all you need. The Borg do not have nearly as good a roll as you do, but it gets 2 successes. So you bring your batleth down, and the drone, as you move into range with it, it kind of does one of those. He just raises up his arm and pushes your swipe aside so that it goes off of the floor, and then reaches down, and when it reaches down, it pushes something into you. Where is my sidebar? Come on, there we are. There's my sidebar. You
Your
feel
sideboard.
you feel these tubes go into you, and how do we determine how injured someone is, Baz? From the hit.
Well, there's so when you do the damage, if it's over 5, then basically then they're injured.
How do I know how much damage to roll is my question.
Security plus whatever weapon. In terms of just straight melee attacks, it's 1 plus security.
Okay, in this case, they have the skill of unarmed strike. And
Wait, hold on. Can another character assist in this?
Yes. If you would like to
Lieutenant-
use your action, Marcus, or Tardigrade's,
Lieutenant
to
Tardigrade,
assist
in this situation, is going to, with claws out, lunge for that Borg with the intent to remove its cybernetic arm.
good call. That's a very good call. His daring security is 16. So he's got quite a good number here. It's 1 die, but
Yes.
Okay, so that first one.
that first one is still a success, which puts the successes to a tie, and Karn is the active character. So what happens is, as you go forward and the Borg tries to, and the Borg attempts to like move its arm to push it out of the way, that ugly human child leaps out of the papoose that its father is wearing, and that's gonna stick with me forever, Mike. He leaps out, and these clawed appendages swipe into the Borg's arm, wounding it, and your batless strike is able to connect, which means that how much damage does a batleth do?
I don't know. It's not
I'm
on my-
asking Baz here, 'cause
Okay.
he would know, I think. It's probably lethal.
I'm going to say 3. I know there's the stats that I can look up, but
It's like 3d6.
3 plus whatever the security is,
Okay. In this case, then
which
you will.
is 4, I think, isn't it?
It is,
For-
yeah. So
Yep, it's 4.
3d6. I'm
So
assuming
it's 76 total, and another 4.
4 it doesn't count, so you have 4 plus 2. That is 6 damage assigned to this Borg, and that is not good for the Borg. You run forward, Tardigrade swipes into its arm, and your batleth comes down and basically just cuts into the same side, nearly cutting the arm off, and you can see the light of it has one eye that's not an eye. It's some kind of like circular radar looking thing. And you see the light in it just go out as the body crumples under your batleth. And you are now right in it. You're right in melee with 5 Borg.
Human captain, I am adopting your ugly son. He is mine now.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. Vic, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
It's my turn.
Yes.
I will throw another little one of my taggy tags.
Roll the what is it? A daring security check?
Control security, which is 15.
Control security for thrown and ranged. I have to remember that.
I took the thing in Twitch chat, so not in game chat. So let's try again. 15 4.
Nice. 2 successes. I love it. The tag again flies through the air, and you see them do something that makes you very sad, of course, and that is, if you remember, these tags had like a light activated, indicating that they activated, and once the first one, that light just activated, it transported away. This one, there's a brief pause that it's like, oh, damn it, they're adapting already. As it takes just a little bit longer for that light to come on and the transporter beam to catch this Borg, leaving less for Tardigrade and Karn to deal with. Back at the other end of the hallway, Bryce has helped you up, Janek, and he says, "You're good with computers. I'll cover you." And he lets his phaser rifle fall to the side and moves in on he moves in kind of in that the boxers dance when they're moving to the center of the ring. He kind of has a little one of those as he moves in on the small Borg that is right in front of the main data core, which is you'd have to make a roll, of course, to use it, but you're the only two there right now, and so he says you're better with computers. Nice damage 3, vicious 1. You were absolutely right guessing 3, Baz. For damage on a batleth. So he is moving in, and he engages the Borg so that you can get to that central core. Going to tell you what it looks like as he engages that Borg now.
I think Bryce just pulled him limb from limb.
Oh, he doesn't pull them limb from limb. Because Bryce is not a murderer. Bryce is not a killer. Bryce moves in, and when he does, the other Borg, all 3 Borg in the room are coming toward him. And what he does is, when the smaller Ibby Borg tries to bring an arm down on him, he catches it, grabs the other arm, and he's maneuvering to keep that Borg in front of him like a shield. And you see the right hand of the Borg, tubules starting to come out of it, and he does not like the look of that, but they're not trying to assimilate him yet. Janek, you can get to the console and scan for the info that you need if you would like.
Marcus is just letting you know, out of character, Marcus is probably going to intervene in this situation too. So don't necessarily.
Except you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I got to decide what Janek in that moment would do, and his natural inclination would be to try and defend.
He's telling you we need what's in that computer. He's like, you're better.
Right, if he said to me to go for the console, he will follow orders.
Yeah, he was like, go for the console. You're better with computers than me. Is really that was what he said.
All right, I
don't have your character sheet, so it's going to be a security and what would it be? Security and stressful situation, but reason would be what applies. So it's reason and security. As you arrive at that central area, all of those hooks that are kind of like attached to it, the whole thing, to access the computer, you're going to have to reach through that green force field, and you don't know what that'll do. Do you want to do it?
He's going to do it.
You reach, and your hands inside of that force field, both of your hands from like just above the wrist down feel like they're being stung by bees. So there's going to be threat added to this roll, but it is reason and security. So I don't know what that is for you. Your computer focus applies, which raises the
and the threat range was what now?
Threat range, I'm going to apply 2 threat to it, making the threat range 17 and above. And that is, I'm applying the threat because your hands feel like they're being it feels like you reached into beehives.
If he still has use of his hands, he's going to try to keep going.
Yeah, you do. you do. So go ahead and make the roll. It just you have a higher complication range.
No complication, but only one
no
success.
complications. You got one success. The one success is enough. Get the information that you need from this terminal, and what it is just a string of numbers. It's a string of numbers that indicate coordinates on the structure of the gate that they're building. But because you have that success, and because you have focus in computers, and because we're down to the last 20 minutes of the game, you realize that from this data node, if you were only as skilled as Quentin, it would be easy. But from this data node, you can probably pull the information from 2 more data nodes and get all of the locational codes that you need. It's just going to take another round.
I don't suppose I could spend the momentum to get more information.
I'd let you spend 2 in this case because it's a whole other action. More information would be more information about the location that you currently have.
Would he be able to use a determination?
That would be what, to reroll it?
Oh, I don't know. Like, could you use that to?
So you can do an extra action by spending 2 momentum, though it is increased in difficulty by 1. Alternatively, you could do your determination to do a second action as part of.
Okay.
I love that use of determination. If you would like to,
It'd be kind of hard to see which one of these would kind of focus. All right. I would say there's 2 that might kind of apply. One is I am only as strong as my squad.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was listening to you. Only as strong as my squad.
Duncan had said something.
Oh, I was going to say that one, and then the one after that, I won't let someone else die because of
that
blood
is
twice.
probably playing very hard in his brain right now because he does not want to see everyone die.
That's the one you're using, and also Bryce is right next to you. If you don't do the extra action this round, he's going to have to spend a round fighting 3 Borg drones.
Nope. Consider his determination spent. He is absolutely.
All right, you may make the second action, which is the exact same roll, to draw the information out of the other data cores to get what you need and get off this ship.
Can I spend a momentum for an extra die?
I have 3. You have 2, so you definitely get an extra die.
Okay.
Oh
yes!
My!
You wonderful, wonderful man!
Oh my!
I think Janek now knows everything that is to be known about the Borg.
He knows.
That is.
So for the chat, that was 2 crit successes and a normal success. So 5
I was going to
total.
say, for people listening, that is one of those amazing rolls. You have 5 successes. That's gonna build you guys up to 4 because I was making this take 3. If you got 2, you would still have a partial success here. But since you got all 5 successes, you build 2 momentum, and you grab the locational coordinates from the other data cores. You reroute the information very quickly and grab it and download it into your tricorder really quickly. But because you got 2 criticals, you also get another set of coordinates which you think can completely collapse Borg not just destroy the gate, because there's a conduit that they have that they're building that gate to access that runs right through the Karat system. You also get coordinates that if you destroy that area, in addition to destroying the gate, will shut down the transwarp the transwarp conduit's ability to open in this system, thereby completely winning the mission, as it were, by shutting the Borg out of the system.
Janek is getting all of this info onto his tricorder.
Okay, and as I said, Bryce is holding the one back, using it as a shield, and there are 4 more surrounding you and Lieutenant Tardigrade in the hallway. Karn, what would you like to do?
Let's see. So I don't know how, exactly how the rules for attack type things work in this game. My instinct would be to do swing a bot left in my head over my head in a circle and try and damage as many of them as I can in one move. But
As
we could there's only I don't think there's no ability for the Batleth to do more than one, but you can certainly at least attack one.
You know what? I think I always go with cinematically. It's going to have a higher difficulty number, but you can potentially hit 3 of them with a big batless sweep. Your normal difficulty for it would be 15. In this case, it's going to be 13, and you'll hit 3 of them if you hit. And you have a focus in Klingon weapons, which means your critical range is anything under a 4.
Yeah, why not? Let's give it a shot.
Okay, so 13 is your target number, and 4 is your critical range.
Okay then.
Wow. Okay then. Karn, you just swing your batleth up and in a nice sweep through the front of you, and you may roll 3d6 for damage, and
it's a 7 total.
7d6 total for your damage.
Yeah.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So it's so it's a total of 9 with the extra effects, because it's vicious. Get a whole lot extra on top of that.
You cut very deep into the chest of the first one, pushing it back as you see it just. That's the one you hit the hardest, because it's the first one. It's the first one you hit, and you see that one falling backwards. Pretty sure that one's out of the fight, and the second one too, as you're basically doing this downward sweep over all 3 of them. And the first one took it in the chest, the second one takes it across the chest and down the stomach, and starts to bleed, because there's a biological organism underneath the Borg there. And you being Karn, being a melee combatant, would know that the body is going to bleed out no matter what the machine parts do. And you also connect with the third one, all of them, one of them down and 2 of them deeply wounded. And your batleth cuts free of the third one, and you can see all 3 of your enemies either bleeding badly or falling to the floor. Marcus, what do you do?
Karn will point at one of the wounded ones and say, "Ugly son, attack!"
Wait, one of the wounded ones, or one of the he can go for the upright ones too.
There are only there's one that's not wounded, 2 that are wounded, and 1 that just hit the floor. So now there's only 3 there.
Okay, so he is going to listen to his new grandpa, and and he will go and attack the that's probably going to take 2 actions if he does that. Yeah, he's just going to go and just sort of attack where he's been told the power core is on these Borg.
Okay. As you guys do know that due to your doctor having autopsied one. So make an attack for Lieutenant Tardigrade, and then tell us what Marcus does.
So let's see. For my numbers on Lieutenant Tardigrade, what type of role is it going to be?
It's a daring security. So that is 10 plus 5. 16 is his target number.
Yes.
2 successes. He goes for the one that's still up, and you just see Ensign Tardigrade just tear into this thing with 4 of his claws and knock it back. few steps. He's done as much. I'm just going to story tell through that. He's done as much damage as that batleth just. And Marcus and Ryk'Tyr, what did the two of you do?
So Marcus wants to clear these out as soon as possible. So he's presumably brought a weapon with him. So,
Yeah.
And they haven't fired on anything, so they haven't remodulated. So he's going to shoot the one that's just upright.
Okay. That is a control security check for Marcus. That is pretty good, actually. Marcus has a good control. He has an 11 and 3, so 14 is your target number.
And munitions wouldn't apply here.
Munitions wouldn't apply. This is not a grenade.
So what was my target?
14. Not a bad one at all. Success. See, now you guys are getting no complications and the good rolls. So the one that Lieutenant Tardigrade tears into it, it's followed up by Marcus shooting a phaser beam from his hand weapon that just takes it down. There are now only 2 left standing, both of them wounded. Rick, what do you want to do?
I'm going to charge my phaser for a wide-angled shot. Try to get both of them as my minor action.
And that is control and security for a ranged attack. That is for Rick, 15.
I'm going to pull a dice, grab a momentum just to make sure.
You guys have 4 of it now. You may as well use it.
Yep.
You have 3 dice.
I think that's it. I've got a phaser, hand phaser. Focus. So yeah, let's do that.
You need 2 successes to hit.
Do we want to reroll?
Yeah, you know what? I'm burning my determination.
Okay, something applies. I love it. Reroll.
I'm going to keep the 15 and go for the other 2.
Okay, because 15 is a success. So.
There we go.
I've got a natural 1, which
gives you total of 3 successes. You get that momentum you just spent back. Your phaser, 1 momentum back. Your phaser beam catches both of them, and for storytelling purposes, they go down in the room. Rosso, you have just downloaded an important piece of information more than you need. You got it all, and Bryce is still got that one by the one arm and was holding the other arm, and you see him let go with the arm that he's holding up in the air that has the tubules coming toward him. He lets go with the other arm and then grabs the 2 tubules and yanks them, and you can see blood spurt out of the hand of the Borg as he just rips the tubules out of the thing's hand, and he says, "Do you have it?"
I've got it. I've got everything.
Good.
Does he have an action yet?
You do. You have an action.
All right. He's gonna pull up his phaser rifle and he's gonna fire at the one that Bryce is holding.
That if he would fire at the one who is the most threat right now, he'd be firing at one of the other ones, because Bryce definitely has the one that he Bryce definitely, the one that he's holding, he has under control.
Yeah, in that case, then, yeah, if it's obvious that he's in no need of danger, then
he's as strong as Data, so it's
he's going to fire on one of the ones in the group.
Okay, that is again. You have your character sheet. I don't have your daring security numbers.
That is at 14.
14. Stop it. Go ahead. And we can roll that in game time chat. Oh my goodness. Okay, you phaser one of the ones, and because this is only the second actual phaser shot these Borg have taken, again, I'm just storytelling because we're here in the last moments of the game, and I want to bring us to an exciting conclusion for this episode. The two of you, you take that Borg down as the two of you exit into the hallway, and Bryce has to keep the one that he's holding held as he's backing up into the hallway with you, because if he lets it go, it's going to attack him, and it's also creating a shield for you.
Janek is going to just let out, I have all the data I need. We can get out of here.
Those of you just Karn and Marcus and Rick, you'd be coming back up the hallway as they're coming out the door, and you can see Bryce holding, in your case, you know her as Sesta Jagoro, Marcus, but you can see Bryce is holding her arms to keep her from attacking. And as they fall back into the hallway, Janek reports, "I have all the information we need. We can get out of here."
So Karn will say, "Good. We do not need the extra drone," and begin to swing his botleth at the held drone's neck because he has no idea what's going on, and no one has told him that we're trying to save that.
Right.
Lieutenant Tardigrade at this point lunges at Grandpa and then spore jumps.
Oh,
fabulous!
Where does he spore jump to?
Reliant.
Okay, you guys, where on the Reliant? What is Lieutenant Tardigrade's favorite spot?
His own quarters.
Okay, so Karn and Tardigrade appear in Tardy's quarters. Marcus, what do you do?
Describe Tardigrade's quarters.
Yes, I want to hear this.
So in the last episode, what had happened is that 2 episodes ago, Lieutenant Tardigrade had an encounter with holographic Mothman and thought he was the Tardigrade version of the Messiah. And he had a legitimate religious experience as a result of that, and no one told him he was holographic. So he had spent the entire last 2 episodes just lighting candles in the room, just one after another, just lighting a candle, and then they tipped over and burnt the entire quarters down. So it's kind of a blackened Hulk, but there's a few toys just sort of carefully gathered in a corner that weren't consumed by fire.
Okay.
So that's the room that you appear in with the ugly human child. Right. Back on the Borg structure, Marcus, you and those who are left, you've just heard the report. We have everything we need. We can get out of here.
And then he's just going to give that order. Bring us all, including the drone, back to the Reliant.
Okay.
Except he can't give it himself, so he has to instruct Janek, tell the ship, beam us all out, including that drone.
I'm sure Janek would do that, right?
Oh, yeah. In fact, he might just try and attach a transporter tag to the drone.
Okay, so we see the away team caught in the transporter beams, and then we cut back to the bridge of the Reliant for just for the moments that are happening, just the moments right before the transporter crew is going to be like, "We've got them on board, sir." And in those moments, what you see is there are still 3 Borg probes and 2 Burrell going at it, and you have managed, Kara, to maneuver the ship, and you're constantly having to move, keep yourself between the injured Burrell and the 2 probes that are trying to reach you guys. However, Quentin is so far able to essentially the repulsor tractor beams pushing them away, and right now you are not in danger of being shot by the other ships. When all of you, when Kendra, you get the signal from the transporter room that says, "Sir, away team reports ready to come home."
Real quick, I'm just going to say that while all this is happening, Kara's dancing the Reliant around, trying to keep line of sight broken between it and the Brell. She snarls under her breath, "You think a machine is going to outpilot me?"
I like that. Yeah,
Do we
Kendra, get the
Do
report.
we have to drop shields in order to beam them up?
Absolutely.
All right, do it fast. Drop the shields, beam them up.
The Klingon at operations just says, "Aye, sir." And you all see that tense moment as shields drop. It becomes the initiative was with the Borg here, and so your shields drop. And oh man, one of them fires so far off and actually hits one of the gantries that connect the Borg structures and destroys it. And the other one, as your shields drop, rocks the ship a little bit. And as soon as you, that's when the shields go down, you hear from the transporter room, "We've got them, sir!" And the Klingon raises shields again. And because we are here at the end moment of our game, this has been 3 hours. I've had a lot of fun. I don't want to make, our guest stars, I don't want to come back for another week, right? So some quick storytelling of where the plot goes is that you now have 3 ships essentially who can send those codes, and all that has to happen, and what does happen is those probes, the Burrells take care of the other probes, and the 3 ships that you have can move into position near where the gate is being built. And what we see happen, that's the important plot stuff before we just do some final things with characters, is that the ships between the Burrells and the Reliant, you guys are able to send the codes, and because of what Janek did on the planet, or not on the planet, what Janek did on the structure and getting those criticals, he is able to give you guys the codes. It's basically up to Captain Graves at this point, whether you completely shut down the transwarp ability of this particular system, or just destroy the gate.
Wait, so I can either blow up the gate or shut down the transwarp ability for everything there. So what's the difference besides hurting them more or hurting them less?
That's the difference.
We're going to hurt them a lot.
If you shut down transwarp for everybody, it would actually hurt everyone.
It will just make Karat a system you have to fly to manually. And it's not a way out there system, so that's not a big deal.
We're going to totally disrupt the transwarp here.
Okay.
Make it go boom.
It
Maximum boom.
It is a glory. There's this partial transwarp gate that had been being built, and the Reliant, and you see probably a scene of like Quentin sending the codes, and guys, it's not even like you don't even need to use your own weapons. You're basically sending numeric codes to a few areas that exist on the transwarp gateway and exploding systems there to cripple the gate. And when you do that, because of this huge gigantic explosion that happens toward the top of the gate, you see this kind of shudder of what looks like a transwarp trail, just kind of flicker, shudder, and disappear. And though the system and the Reliant and the 2 Burrells towing the wounded Burrell are able to do a short jump, it takes you out of the system, and the mission will have been successful. We have Karn to get back to his ship eventually here, and
I will laugh if Karn's ship was the one that got disabled.
It wasn't. His was the one who did the maneuver where it had the glorious explosion and it kind of flew up through it. So yeah, that is the ending of the plot of this, is you guys destroying that and escaping the system. But if there are character moments that you would all like to do, I'm open to staying and seeing what rolls need to be made for just a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
we just literally reached our
Yep.
3-hour mark. So,
So-
thank you to everybody who listened. I do want to say that before this is like, this is the end, but we might do a few little character moments. But really, thank you to everyone who listened and watched the stream. I only went over there once at our break to say, hey guys. So I hope that this was a success technically. For me, it was the same as how we normally play. I just had a good time here on Discord playing with you guys, and I wanted to definitely give you a big thank you for guest starring with us this week, Mike and GreenDragoon. Both of you, I was happy to make space for you guys in our story since you're both wonderful gamers. So,
well, I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Cool. I think I do want to say before we move on to the name of this episode definitely has to be what Kara suggested earlier. The name of this episode is going to be Ugly Human Child. So so yeah, that's what I had to say, which was
Duncan, I need a drawing of Karn and his ugly son immediately.
Okay, I will definitely be working on that over this weekend. But we need to have like an outro with them because here's the thing. We've got character flexibility. So let's go ahead and do the outro scene with Karn. Like, should we do it in this room or transporter room?
We can do it. Up to you.
I know that a couple of other people also have like just a few lines of something that they want to throw in at the end here. So again, I'm going to shut up and let you guys do that.
I just for those curious, I can go for another hour for stream and then I got to call it. So if we got that much, we can do that.
Okay. I probably don't have that much in me personally, but
yeah. So let's go ahead and get the Karn stuff out of the way. So let's just say Ensign Tardigrade has cleaned his quarters on Karn's permission. Karn is just sort of like sitting on the bed, just waiting, and then he finishes and just sort of gives him a salute. And
excellent work, ugly human son. Come, sit by me.
He scrabbles up the bed.
You have done well this day and shown ferocity that will be misused and not appreciated within the humans Federation. How would you like to join me on a Burrell bird of prey, the greatest and prettiest starship to ever be in the skies? To hell with the stupid Oberth!
He sort of he has to think about this a lot because over his whole life he was alone in space for a very long time, and then he found Marcus and he found Setsa Jagoro, and then there were a family for a while, but now they're back. They're back, and JT really likes Grandpa, and he just looks up to him and says, "Okay."
Excellent. Welcome aboard. So he holds out his arms for Lieutenant Tardigrade to jump into them.
And he does the hug.
Tardy hugs.
And yet, Lieutenant Tardigrade is going to transfer to the Burrell Bird of Prey as a transfer officer.
Fabulous. We might need to play out this side episode at some point.
In the middle of a war, he's going to do this.
Yep.
Not only
to the enemy.
Not only in the middle of a war is he going to do this, but the Starfleet and Klingon Command will only allow it if it is an officer exchange program.
Oh.
And so next week you guys will see next week you guys will deal with like the fallout, and you'll see
Dibs on the Gorn. We already got a Klingon.
Gorn's just going to give us his mutinous first officer.
Lethian. Wait, we could do Lethian. We got Nausicaan. We got a lot of.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I already have
please
an
let
idea.
it be the Lethian who humiliated Whateley on the Ryza.
Yes, yes.
So I know that also Kendra has a scene she wants to do. And so does Eli. Before just game, it being a game, we're not, and Kara has something to do too. We're not like held by this is the end of the episode. I love learning more about these characters through
this is held by the end of the episode. We're doing the Return of the King thing of you think the episode's over and then it just comes back. And then you think it's over and it comes back.
What we're doing is the end of a CW episode. Right now there's a pop music something playing over all of this, and it's all actually happening in montage. But we're gonna add the dialogue because we want to.
But it's Klingon Pop Warrior.
So go ahead, Kendra.
Kara can go ahead.
Okay, mine is just very short. Kara, as soon as they're warping out of the system, motions to Ensign Moon to take her thing, stands up, straightens her uniform. Ma'am, if you want me in the brig, I can comply. But if you want an apology, it ain't gonna happen.
Remember that the command of the chain of command is there for a reason.
Ooh, I like tension on the bridge. I love that there's tension there. That's awesome.
I don't know how much tension there really is because Kendra and Kara do like each other. It's just
I know.
I think this is a very specific difference.
Oh, I think it is, yeah. When it happens, the two NPCs on the bridge share a look. They're like, "Oh, damn." Moon and the Klingon, who we have not named. Oh, by the way, Mike, the reason we never named him is I never knew what week you might be able to guest star or when you might like to. And so I said, there's a Klingon who serves on board this ship who has very few lines and never has a name until
So if I ever come back on a time we don't need Karn, I'll name him.
Cool. So any other, do we have additional stuff from Kendra there?
Was it?
Okay. And Eli, you had something that you wanted to do, and then I have one thing I'll add, and then I think we'll probably be all done. Picking up.
I gotta deborgify the Borg that we just picked up, so I want to do that quick.
So that'll be picked up next week. One of the first things we do because you've picked up three Borg. One who has only been a Borg for the Vega incident happened in like April and May. So this had only been a Borg for 3 or 4 months. The other two that got beamed back over, they have been Borg for a very long time. And you'll have to make some priorities on how to treat them. But we will definitely pick up with that next week. And the last thing I wanted to pick up on to leave like as a teaser for things that would be coming up would be walking toward the All Faiths Chapel, where the counselor's office is close by as well. Dr. 3 is walking with you, Chaplain Whateley, and she's explained that in order to override whatever telepathic thing you were doing, that was allowing to that was basically having you feel the Borg as if you were a Borg. In order to neutralize that, she says in order to neutralize what the Borg were doing to you, I had to inject you with assimilation modules. They're not going to change you into a Borg, but you should have some counseling sessions. And she looks like it's you've seen one moment of like humanity or, you know, kind of feeling from her so far when she put her shoulder on Eli's shoulder in the emergency medical thing that was happening and said, take a rest, I got this. Because she is very much not, she doesn't have a whole lot of humanity in her, even though she's been liberated. And so this is another one of those moments. You definitely just picked up, Whateley, that when she says we should set up some counseling sessions, she means for you and for her. Like, she definitely feels like she needs a counselor, but she knows that what she just did to Whateley is going to leave an effect. So you pick up a moment of care from her, of, you know, who somebody just wrote in the chat, Ryk'Tyr wrote in the chat, who counsels the counselor. And that is the feeling you got from her from her last line of the episode as the two of you are walking toward the All Faiths Chapel. I'll let you stew on that for a bit. Wow, this was a fun night, guys. I had a blast.
Me too.
This last 2 weeks, we've just really, like, I feel like hit our stride, and I feel like I feel like everybody's had a chance.
I just wanted to go ahead and mention vocally that Marcus did want a scene with Bryce.
And I would like a scene with Oakley if possible as well.
Okay, cool. I missed a couple of those. So yeah, let's do that.
Real quick before we move on, he Whateley acknowledges Dr. 3 and agrees that they will have some sessions, and he doesn't say it outright, but he very much implies that it's going to be a two-way kind of session. But as soon as he's in his quarters by himself and everyone else is gone and no one is paying attention to him, the first thing he does is he sits in his little meditation area. He tries to reconnect to the collective.
Hey, you sit in your little meditation area. Oh, this is great. This is great because this will tell you what Dr. 3 just did to him. Try to reconnect to the collective, and instead you become 100% aware of Dr. 3's thoughts and what she's doing right now, as she's walking into sickbay and prioritizing how she can best help the many Borgs that you've liberated. She is very focused on that, and she seems to realize that you collect, or that she seems to realize that the two of you connect. And in your mind, you hear her voice say, "We are Borg," and she goes right back to her.
Ooh.
Okay, let's see what scene Ryk'Tyr wants to do with Oakley.
So right at the moment, Ryk'Tyr is looking at a list of damage to the ship. Whatever was done with the deflector, whatever damage was shot by the Borg, and is just going over with the list. So what do we?
You've got a little bit of structural damage, a little bit of power relay damage from the one hit that you took. That was the structural and power relay damage. But somebody focused a whole load of power, tractor beam power through the main deflector dish. That was Quentin. And whatever he did worked, but it burned out some important deflector systems.
Looks like we're going to have to replace the deflector, some of these facilities, but also should do a diagnostics in some of these power relays to make sure that
awesome. Next,
nothing else was affected.
Nice. Oakley is near you in engineering and makes a couple of beeps and shakes like he's nodding. And for the first time, so Oakley has definitely shown consciousness and has displayed like feelings on its display screen, like made a happy face and stuff. But this is the first time you see Oakley actually like move its body like it's nodding. It does like a very human gesture. The thinking face on the screen.
So, Oakley, I've noticed you've actually also been developing in, well, ways that the other exocomps haven't. That maybe you are gaining some form of sentience or understanding of situations, growing neural pathways.
Oakley continues to make a thinking face, and we're going to leave that again a great tease for things that will be upcoming. And what was our last? Last, Marcus wanted to talk to Bryce.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Once you walk out of the transporter room, because the transporter team is very smart. They beamed the assimilated IBI into the emergency medical facility in your cargo bay, so that it will be Doctor. I think his name is Tay. I don't have the list open anymore. Ged, Dr. Ged will be the one doing the immediate work, and then she'll be moved to sickbay. So he racks his rifle and steps into the hallway with you, Captain.
Bryce, there's a lot I could say at this point, and I think you did the right thing.
Sorry, I just don't have it in me to kill if I don't have to.
It's the best thing you did in this situation, and I can't explain what it means to me, but I'm just going to do this. And he just hugs Bryce.
Bryce, he has that very like stoic, like he thought he was about to get dressed down because he didn't use his phaser. So he's got that moment of like shock of like, and he turns the hug, and it isn't android like. He gets that whatever he did, he doesn't know what he did, but he gets that whatever he did just made you not only happy, but he did something that, he senses that he did something of personal importance to you, even if he doesn't know what it was. And he returns the hug very sincerely. And I would say that is our moment of the screen of the camera pulling back and the screen fading to black for the end of the episode. And as always, this is a game to be continued. Guys, this was so much fun. That was awesome. That was an awesome last thing there, Marcus. Yeah. Thank you.
I was gonna say I was worried when I saw how many players were in the game, but you guys did a fabulous job of balancing, basically running two different games so that everybody had a chance to do something. That was awesome.
It's my home D&D group at one point reached 8 players because there was no other D&D group in town that was welcoming to trans, and at least they couldn't find other gaming groups that were very welcoming to homosexual and transsexual individuals. And we were like, dudes, we fucking love everybody. Come over and, game with us. And at one point we reached up to 8 players sitting at the table, and somehow I managed to keep everyone doing something. And a lot of it had to do with they didn't split the party, so that helped in that case. But it's just something that I like. In this case, a lot of people want to tell stories, you know, and I'm real keen on providing an outlet for stories. I've been getting Twitter DMs from people who have listened to episodes or people who know about this because Nord has talked about it on his channel that are like, would I be able to maybe guest star someday? Like play my character. I could be an antagonist, or you know. So I think it's really cool how many people want to tell stories.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And having a platform is important because it's not easy to find a game. Even in this day and age where there should be like tons of them that would be easy to join, it's not that easy to find a game. And I feel a lot of love from everyone in this group too. And like Dragoon, whenever he shows up, and whenever you show up, Dragoon, and guest star is Janek. I love the recurring character of the red shirt who won't die.
And speaking of Dragoon, I just want to give a massive shout out. Y'all can blame Dragoon for this whole overlay for the stream. He did
That's an awesome
all of this.
And it did look, the moments I went over there, man, that looked really good. Like,
it looks really, really good. Yeah, I had it on.
Nice.
It also was great because like it was just a really good, quick visual reminder that okay, we're in a scene that I'm in now.
Right, nice. That's a good point. Good point. It was. I hope that it went well, and that people who listened to us enjoyed it at the very least. And I hope that again, I hope that our listeners have as much fun as I hope that we all have when we play it. So like new Star Trek, an extra time per week.
And I will point out, for anyone interested, this is normally a podcast hosted over on Starbase UGC.
Right. We normally record our episodes once every 2 weeks and put them up on Starbase UGC because UGC stands for user generated content. Yeah, so
what you're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Nord maybe post all the links in the chat again.
Ooh, good idea.
Yeah. People can listen to things. We have I don't even know. We're probably on episode like 11 or 12 times or
I had meant to, because last week you couldn't remember what episode number, and I looked it up, and then I had meant to go look it up again right before we started because I was going to make a joke of it, and I completely forgot.
We've had like 2 half episodes, and we're like at episode number 12. So,
wow.
Oh yeah. Plus, I still need to upload the counseling sessions we did.
That's all. I can't believe that we've survived, like a game that has survived this, for 12 whole episodes. That makes me feel good. So,
hey, we're mid-season.
Yeah, we are at mid-season.
So before I go, I did have a fun fact about Janek that I thought you would all appreciate. So if you recall back to the Texas when he choked, he choked because one of his values was put on the line. So that, no, I won't let anyone else die. You recall Kara walked up to the force field and it dropped, and that's when he choked.
Right.
Yeah, Kara just does have that kind of, she does dumb things that always work out sort of feel.
I was actually going to bring it up if anyone confronted him about it, but everybody was pretty forgiving about it, so it never came up. Funny enough, the same value is the one that allowed him to kind of do so well tonight.
Nice. Well, it looks like next week the captain's probably going to have to talk to Kara, so.
Yep.
I like, I kind of more of who Bryce is came into focus for me. The fact that what came into focus for me is that due to the nature of what he is, being a synthetic life form, he has kind of this uber respect for life, essentially, and he doesn't like to kill unless it's absolutely necessary, and that even includes an enemy like the Borg. So that came into focus.
He'll fit at home with here, just saying.
Now, just to confirm, Bryce is Janek's superior.
Yes.
Okay.
He definitely, Bryce is, since Janek is a security officer and not a tactical officer, Bryce is his division commander, as it were. What you would know, the thing we established a few weeks ago, I think an episode before you were here for 3 Dragoon, was that Bryce implemented a new protocol where essentially shifts are, you have shorter shifts. Like if your job is being like the security guard down near the science labs, your shift is shorter by 2 hours, but your rest time is also shorter by 2 hours in between when you have shifts. It has, what you would note is it has increased efficiency of security operations at the small cost. There is a little bit of a cost in morale, but it's not been a big hit to morale. You would know that being a security officer. The reason the hit to morale is people basically can't watch that one extra hollow vid. You know what I mean? So.
To go back to lower decks, what's one less margarita a day?
I wonder what side Janek would come down on, you were saying,
Yeah,
Dragoon?
I was just wondering what side of the debate Janek would come on.
Right. I know that Vierek likes it, but he also is not a security officer, so, his opinion doesn't mean that much. He's a tactical officer. So... yeah, wow, I had fun. I'm sitting here just like in that, like, that was a fun game night. The post game high, as it were.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys. I mean, you make this game as much as anyone, so thank you very much.
Any thought for the next episode, Q?
Well, first we're going to deal with like the fallout from the
Yeah.
things that happened in this episode. And
Do we want to make it like another bottle episode?
probably we'll do another bottle episode with it dealing, a day in the life kind of episode.
Yeah.
And
for
we
the
can all
people
talk to
for-
Space Bomb.
We haven't talked to Space Bomb yet.
Yes, she is, while not fully recovered, she is fully liberated. Eli saw to that, so.
Yeah, Karn, just so you know, the captain of our cadet cruise was assigned to a different ship and later got assimilated by the Borg, and we just rescued her.
That's who that was.
No, that's not Setsa. That's a different person. But it happened in the previous episode. But the point is, we just all call our former commander Space Mom.
Nice.
And we have literally done this to her face.
Yeah, you slipped up during, I think it was like the sort of like after our first mission, everyone sort of like gathered together in like one of the clubs on like Starfleet Academy, and you slipped up and called her you called her mom.
That wasn't a slip up.
What happened there was that was her name was Commander Cole because I saw a cool picture of Evangeline Lilly when she was promoting Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I was like, oh, that's the haircut from Game. And I was like, she totally has to be the commander of like their cadet cruise. And her basic attitude was, you guys were assigned to these positions because that's what you're best at. Prove it to me by being the best at it. And you guys, essentially they could have called her Jordan and she wouldn't have minded. I mean, they all called her Captain and Sir and, you know, and such, but she was very, very relaxed in her command style. And they just ended up calling her Space Mom.
That's amazing.
So
Well, this was super fun,
thank
guys.
you.
Yeah.
Again,
thank you guys.
I'm glad we could. I'm glad that you had fun, and we could give you a fun, Friday evening, Mike. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That
Thanks
was
for
great.
being here, sir.
Of course. Thanks for having me, sir.
Cheers.
I was hoping Kael was going to say my line. Don't call me sir. I work for a living.
I work retail. I heard that way
goodness.
too much.
Goodness. Well, see, I put off playing Wasteland 3 all day so I could read stuff about the Borg and also also ask another storyteller advice for how to hand. I was like, I know what's going to happen. What I literally said to them was, I know what's going to happen is we're going to end up with 10 minutes left and 30 minutes of game to do. What should I do? And they were like, just storytell it, make it quick. And I went, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not a bad idea. I was like, I'll let people do, the stuff that is important to their character, but just go ahead and say, this is how the plot ends. And what we would see on screen would be this, fantastic explosion. And I just realized there's another thing we have to deal with during the bottle episode, Duncan, and that will be Marcus speaking to Starfleet Command. The deal actually was that Karn asked for, Mike, was we will help you do this if you, captain of this experimental new ship, if you will speak for Klingon control of this system. So basically, Marcus has to argue to Starfleet Command, we have to
the system.
We have to give up Karat and let the Klingons have it.
I was initially going to go into this game with the idea that Karn was viewing the entire crew of the Reliant as his prisoners because they'd surrendered the system and therefore everything within it. But it ended up feeling like it would derail the mission too much.
The Borg episodes we've done have been fun. I liked this one a lot. So, very, very cool. I'm gonna get tired. I'm gonna get tired here in not too long. So
me too.
I'm gonna be saying good night and
good night, gents.
Good night, everybody. Thanks again.
Yep. Thank you again.
No, thank you again.
Thank you again.
No, thank you again.
Who's gonna hang up on who here?
That's
hang up first.
I think that's my cue to go ahead and take back over, and I think I want to say thank you to everybody. This has been an amazing night. Kael, you have been amazing. This was
super fun.
I have no words. This was just an awesome experience, especially it predicated because I've been kind of hinting and nudging ever since we started this. We might think about live streaming this. We even have an established Twitch channel we could do this on. And everyone was like, nah. So I was kind of like, eh. And then it was like, hey, we're going to get Kael. Well, hey.
And Kael is gone. We salute you!
We salute you, Kael. Have a great night, man.
Actually, while I'm thinking about it, are we going to have the VOD for this up for a while?
Yeah, so let's...
Now I'm back.
No! I mean, yay! All right, so to answer that question,
gone.
I am going to download the VOD and upload it. The question is, where do we want to upload it? Because I know Starbase UGC has a dedicated YouTube channel. Do we want to upload it there? What was that, Duncan?
We've also got the Foundry Roundtable account as well still. So I think we've got those two options. But definitely make the priority, just get the VOD as soon as possible just to make sure we save it. Because we want to preserve this for all time.
Absolutely. And that was the mistake I made with a lot of my Foundry playthroughs I did on stream, was I kept forgetting to download them, and then by the time I remember to
so
go back
I'll
and
check
do
in
it,
with
they
you
were gone.
tomorrow about that, just to make sure that we're on track for getting this saved up.
Yes, this is not a thing I'm going to forget. In fact, I'll probably do it since I've got about 20 minutes left. I'm probably going to go look to see if I can do it tonight. But since everybody's winding down and everybody's wanting to call it a night, I think in the tradition of the Mead Hall,
I can go all night.
yeah.
I'm planning on sticking around for a little bit too, just to work through some character stuff.
Well,
Oh, you guys are. I'm gonna stay. I'll stay for a little while.
Hippie, we know you're an old
probably-
man. You can go to sleep.
I like
I'll
what,
be listening,
I
but
like what
I will
Rogue
have to be
Enterprise-
audio editing. So this will
I like
still
what
come
Rogue
up as a normal
Enterprise-
podcast. And
Yep.
this guy right here, Bazag, that's speaking, is responsible for that side of it still. So that's still happening.
Awesome.
I like what Rogue Enterprise just put in the Mead Hall. He said if we intend to if we do end up doing more live streams of them, we could make a dedicated Twitch channel for the Reliant rather than having to do it. Yeah.
The one thing I like about doing it on Starbase UGC is that it does point to some boundary content, and I like that as a little bit of a memorial.
I do too.
Yep, I agree with that.
Really, this is, this, as I said at the beginning, this is my Foundry after Foundry. I even figured out, for those of you who I've told I have a time travel story that made a former
go to
house.
bed. Oh my god. Okay.
Kale, you're breaking new rule number 1 of the Mead Hall. For those who don't know, rule number 1 is don't be an asshole. That's my job.
Don't be an asshole. But I have a time travel story that at one point, my housemate was also a writer. She's done some like really small publishing things. But I said, I don't know if I've solved all of those, problems with time travel stories. Would you listen to me tell you this story and tell me what I need to solve before I'm done? And so we stood on our back porch, and I told her the time travel story, and I said, so what did I forget? And she went, not to forget anything. And so I went back over my own plot, and she was right. I didn't forget anything. I tied up all of it doesn't mess up the timeline in any way. It doesn't, everything it worked. And I was like, oh, help me tighten up these few areas. And she did. And yeah, I've got a time travel story that I'm proud of, that I'm really looking forward to tell with you guys. So
yeah, that's going to be really cool. There's also the Ibby Homeworld episode, which I think would be a good opportunity for exploration and diplomacy stuff. But that I'd like to workshop with you, maybe like on voice chat, to really flesh something out.
I like that.
Yeah, because I like that as I've had a couple of takes on that premise before, but I'd like to work with you to make it better and make it really work for this format.
So, quickly, just referring back to the writer part, I actually have self-published my own book.
With your Super Spy.
Yeah, well, we won't spoil it. The book's cover Failed Expectations by Andrew Gilmore. That's my real name, Andrew Gilmore. And it's
now we know.
Like a mix of Indiana Jones and what's that military guy? I'm just having a mental blank right now.
Oh no. Chuck Norris.
No,
Or do you really?
Hunt for the Red. No, not Hunt for the Red October, but he's
Jarylan just linked it in the Mead Hall.
Yeah, that's the link to it. It's sort of like a military-esque fantasy action adventure. That's what I'm going to call it.
Nice. I like it. Promote yourself. I like that.
So that's a bit of self-promotion that I wanted to do.
Nord, am I
the main
seeing
question I
correctly
have
that-
now is why didn't you do that at the end of any of the other episodes?
Wait, what?
am
What'd you ask?
I seeing correctly? There's still more than 20 people on your channel listening to us.
We have actually gained more viewers than when we were trying to wind it down.
Why are you people here? Go to bed.
Over. Go home.
Well,
Go home.
I traditionally at the end of a stream I go
Wait,
find
hold
somebody
on.
to raid.
Or, wait, Whateley. I gotta stop you for a second. Are you playing any music?
Look at what's on screen.
Oh God. Oh no. Ah.
Oh no!
Oh no! This is definitely after show.
Yes, this is all after show. What's on screen?
It's Karn and Space Mom. Grandpa and Space Mom, no!
Oh, yes. There's
Oh.
And she still has all the Borg bits. Maybe he's into that.
Oh.
What are you looking at that I can't see?
Because look at the portraits. It's Karn and Cole, and there's apparently 70s adult music playing.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This is why we can't have nice things. I have
This
too
is
much of a
not
sense of
fucking
humor.
Okay,
I think
okay.
Augmented
I
Dictator
think,
Games had the best response there.
yeah, let's say, let's probably call the stream, like, at this point, stop the live show. I know people are watching, but I think once we hit that point, we do want Kael to come back at some point, so I think that's a limit. No escalation, just stop it there.
Just stop it with the 70s porn music.
Reliant just
Oh,
torpedoed
man.
our own reputation. It's a critical hit.
Wow, Augie stuck around for the whole game. Nice. Thank you.
Well, I am going to be logging off as well, so I will be doing the stuff I need to do while that happens.
I'm gonna log off, just say a thank you on Nord's channel, and resist the siren's call of Wasteland 3. That's what I will do, because I should go to sleep and not be up until 3 or 4 in the morning playing Wasteland 3, even though it is that good. So yeah, good night, guys. This was really fun.
You're
Thanks a
welcome,
lot.
Theta.
Night, Hippie.
You're welcome. Good night, Hippie. Good night, everybody. Head to bed.
I'm
I like
sticking
Eli's
here.
response.
I'd want to.
Yeah, I'll be sticking on for a minute to
Same.
sort of.
I'll be here
So
too.
I'm gonna pass the stream love on to a very good friend of mine. Her name is Nira Song. It's actually part of why I decided to do that little joke I just did there was because of who I was gonna raid. She is an awesome STO streamer who makes other content as well. She's
Just
a very
make
good
sure
friend of
it's
mine.
appropriate to pass on a cryptic audience too. Keep that in mind. Like serious point.
Oh no. When you host someone and then that stream ends, it ends. It doesn't pass it on to that one.
Okay.
But she's on Twitch, so it's
Okay.
follows Twitch TOS. But anyway,
Okay, just making sure.
yeah. I do occasionally know what I'm doing. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and raid my good friend Nira Song.
Bye, everyone. I hope I can do more next time.
So thank
Yeah,
you.
we didn't.
Poor Eli. This was definitely not an Eli-focused episode. I have
You
a
could have gone
feeling.
down to the
Really
scary Borg ship.
Listen, I was really hoping we were gonna beam up the Klingons because I wanted to go down there and sort of like the way that our Klingon officer was like, "That's not a good idea." Like, I want to go down there and I want to fucking make it a good idea.
Yeah, we can. like there's a lot of medical stuff. So I think the next episode being Eli focused would be it would be a really good fit because it's going to be sort of you got a lot of the Borg to deal with because we've got a lot of Borg that we've brought back with us. We have a lot of new friends. There's going to be the scene with Lieutenant Tardigrade leaving, and there's got to be a scene about the mold.
And we have like 40 some odd people from the Texas.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of medical stuff, and then we can throw on Eli character stuff on that as well, and then kind of put him in sort of the.
I definitely need to. Sorry.
Oh no, I was waiting for you.
All right, well, we have reached the end of the raid counter, so. Good night, all. Good night, everybody. Have a great night.
Okay, there we go.